The Red Goddess was definitely not pleased with my comparison of her to Nysalor. You can blame a little piece of information that Tech gave me, and I had to fight off a cold. That's why we're a bit late, since I legitimately woke up from a nap not even 5 minutes ago. Hey there, everyone. The name's Adam, and I'm not feeling great.
I'm Tech Priest, and this is one of the best books in the line.
And the book in particular is another Cults of Runequest book, in this case, The Lunar Way,
So,
in which if you
unfortunately, that means there's going to be a decent amount of cleavage, but fortunately,
if
we were forearmed and it's not as bad as the Arnalda book, so I think we can
yeah,
get away with it.
if you were upset that we weren't able to show off green tits in the Earth Cults book, now we got red tits.
So, with that in
And then
mind,
once
let's
the water cults come out, blue tits.
so with that in mind, let's show the cover because I think this is one of my favorite covers. She's just surfing on the devil bat. You just see the army. Half of them's probably already been eaten. It'll be fine. Also love the insanely silly scythe, even though I think scythes like that weren't they invented in like the medieval era?
Listen, it's RuneQuest. Don't ask
It's
questions
I
like
mean, they
that.
got corn. I don't know why Greg Stafford had to get rid of potatoes, but he kept maize.
They have guns. The dwarves have guns in this setting.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Also, do you notice this? The Crimson Bat is eating, or at least it's one of its tongues is over the moon rune.
Well, yeah, it's an avatar of chaos. So, as mentioned, this is going to be kind of like the Earth books, so there will be stylized representations of nudity because of statues like Venus of that German town that's really fat. And just in general, there's a lot of stuff like that, so keep it in your pants and keep it calm, guys. Don't worry. So, here's the Red Goddess in stylized Aztec form. Let's move on. And here's the art piece again. As for the people involved in this book, Greg Stafford's notes and Jeff Richard. Also, a lot of good artists were put involved in this book. They did not
Also,
just embezzle it all into the porch.
I do want to point out by closing stars saying he showed the bat and the cult of the bat to a long-term Warhammer friend, and he got freaked out.
Well, yeah, you don't really get much out of worshipping the bat other than it is less likely to eat you. Sometimes it's more likely to eat you if you're particularly devoted.
But so if people have been following us, we've already done the storm gods. We did the earth
We
gods.
have covered the Storm Pantheon / Wind Pantheon. We have covered the Earth Pantheon, which, if you check our playlists, you'll see our Glorantha ramblings. That'll be where you find it. Half of it 18 plus just because of the art styles. But yeah, tonight we're covering the Lunars because uh, it's Pelora. Pelora is one of the most important regions in the setting, and it is the meta equivalent of not necessarily the bad guys, but the illuminated guys. These are kind of this age's version of Nysalor, with
They are they are the evil empire.
kind of
Take
yes, kind
any
of no.
empire. Well, yeah, but the way that if you're going to be playing as a Orlanth the Adventurer, it is.
Well, yeah,
They can
because
be
it's
anything from
illumination.
brutal Assyrians, staunch Romans, snooty British, um, paranoid Soviets, batshit insane Nazis, all that shit.
Well, but I wouldn't making them Nazis. I don't think works. Neither does the
You're right,
Soviet
yeah.
aspect work.
The
They're
Soviet.
not Nazis. They're not Soviets.
A better way to
Listen,
compare them is the Inca.
they're not even the Inca.
Well, no, because
The
they have forcibly moved populations that are restive, which is very similar to the policy of Mitka.
I mean,
That's similar to the
they're a
policy of the
mix.
majority of you have to understand that was a default policy for a lot of ancient peoples is just we take these guys and we move them over here.
I mean, the Babylonians did it with the Jews.
The Babylonians did it,
And
the
that's
Parthians did it, the
that's
Greeks did it,
really
the
if you're looking at them, take Babylonia, Assyria, and I don't know, mix it with weird magic shit.
I would probably say the best way to describe them is take a dash of the Incans, mix it in with the Assyrians, and then finish it off with some Romans, and you have a pretty good idea on how they go.
And they are very much the odd man out in the setting because the Red Goddess herself is not the typical god. She she did not exist as she is now before time started.
She essentially is a refine. There's a really great article that Tech gave me called Arcat the Bodhisattva, which talks about the concept of illumination. And the way she exists is due to realizing that the world is a stage and that she is playing a role, and how to break those conventions. She had to do this to form. So,
So you
what's
have
in
a
this book? Mostly the lunar cults, because the Red Goddess is not the sole goddess. There's the Seven Mothers, there's the Red Emperor, and they
the
go into all
yeah,
details about them.
and the other important fact is that they start out in an area that already has a pre-established culture. The Pelorians were also the is also where the Darahapan culture exists. The Darahapa worship Yelm and the sun god, are a very sort of patriarchal society.
Which is why this is such a big kind of shift in things, and why she has a Red Emperor, essentially to accommodate for that.
But they were also taken over by a society known as the Carmanians, which are magicians.
So
To, to not dwell on
the
what
other
they're,
interesting
it's
thing
just
about the Lunars are they have what is called the promise of the White Moon, which is that the world will be freshly remade in a way that is better when the moon is turned white, which is the end of the
We
Second Age.
we can get to that.
yeah.
This is not that. Let's go actually into the very basics of this.
Fair enough.
I think we should go by going on to page uh will be page 5
Are you sure you don't
for
want to
the
talk about the prehistoric moons? Because in the God times, there were a variety
We
of
will
moons.
talk about the
yeah,
prehistoric moons, and those are covered under the Red Goddess.
and we
Okay.
will have to then skip the page after that because
Yeah, so don't worry, guys. I have, if I do it
Boob
right,
and Bush.
you should see a Roman centurion. Let me check. Yes, I'm doing it correctly, thank God. Because it's a great set of stylized art pieces, but there is so much Tata that it doesn't matter if it's stylized.
By Utubin Law.
By Utoban law, you may not see the great stonking tits. Seeing them it requires a fine of 1 wheel, and you will be fed to the bat. Not or, and. Specifically and.
So, the 7 steps of the Red Goddess. I believe in the Red Goddess, mistress of life and death, who descended naked into the darkness, was slain by the Shadow Guardian, and resurrected by the secrets of bright Spider Mother. She conquered the bear to rekindle the sky. She traversed the land of the dead and overcame the Shadow Guardians, and returned to give us the light, the dark, and the gifts. She is the mirror and the mask. She is the substance and the passion.
Which, if you think about it and compare it to Arcat's descent, doesn't that make a lot of sense?
And for those who do not know, Arquette was the big hero of the First Age, who
Hero or
slew
villain, depending on who you ask.
basically. If you ever played Elder Scrolls 4 and you have played the Knights of the Nine, closest you can get to just shortly explaining him, he is like Perennial White Strike.
He's a mixture of Pelennor Whitesnake and, to a lesser degree, given there's a character called Argrath, possibly Nerevar. Not quite.
No,
It's not. No, not quite. This is just the
We
best kind of fit that you can kind of come
yeah.
at with.
no. If you're going to describe Arcat as anyone, the closest analogy I have to him is imagine Genghis Khan in
Yeah,
terms of the effects that he had and like the the debates about it. Now imagine there's two Genghis Khans, and you sort of get the Arcat and Nysalor conflict.
Well, actually, no. I would go with this: Genghis Khan and the Doomslayer.
Not a bad take.
Yeah,
The concept of Arcat is very interesting since I'm gonna reference this a lot. The basic principle is, and it really highlights what illumination is. Arcat started essentially as a deva and was extremely pure in his preachings and beliefs of the original Melchior rite that leads to immortality. There are people that are immortal, but they're dying out. Don't think about it. And through the knowledge and rote of his role in society, he became one of the masters of battle in himself. Then he decided to break every single covenant and convention to sink down to the maximum level of shit to essentially become on the same level of Nysalor. He has seen the light, he has touched the darkness. He has become Gbaji, because to defeat lies, you have to become the liar. You have to become the destroyer. Once you know what that is, you know how to destroy it or defeat it. And as before, so shall it again. And you could argue to a lesser degree, that's kind of what the Red Goddess did. In fact, that's kind of what illumination is. It's it's essentially realizing the status of things and how to break
no,
conventions.
no, illumination goes way beyond that.
It,
Illumination
it,
is way closer to Chim.
but we'll
True,
get
you have to
to
know
explaining
everything.
that.
Yeah,
We have to explain the mysteries and the secrets all in due time,
fair enough.
which is kind of what her theme is. She's revealing truths and secrets.
Which is similar to what Nysalor did, but not quite.
All she will accept all into her light. Does not require forcible conversion, but it's just you can always integrate it with local truths. Ever,
Essentially, she went through the process of knowledge and wants to share it with others. But one of the things that you could argue is, to use it correctly, you have to experience it.
Now let's go back over to the 7 steps to understand this sort of right there on the previous page. What does this actually tell you?
So you have to believe in her. And what she did was descended into the darkness, was faced death, was reborn,
she
rekindled the
died for
sky,
you.
over came the Shadow Guardians. And if you think about it, we covered something
Gave
very
us
similar.
the light, the dark, and the gifts. She is the mirror and she is the mask. This, I think, is the best indication of illumination.
It's also a
Uh,
twisted version of the Lightbringer's quest, if you think about it.
well, yes, it is, and we will cover that. They were trying to do a Lightbringer's quest, and something went weird. I won't say wrong because it didn't go wrong. It went incredibly right,
And
and we can talk about that. But the very basics of the lunar path is that it is both right hand and left hand. There are two faces of the moon. There's a lot of duality. There's a lot of embracing the contradictions. This is not a religion that goes and puts things into neat categories of right and wrong
so
because
the opposite of most
As
religions.
the moon shifts, so does its morality. Because that's the thing. This is actually an interesting take because it is very similar to there were several deities in Iron and Bronze Age cultures that had multiple aspects of themselves like that. In particular, there's a very interesting iteration of Aphrodite that is native to Lacedonia. Lacedonia being the Spartan region, where she's not purely the goddess of love. She's also a war goddess and one of blood and passion.
Hmm.
There's also different varieties of Aphrodite, such as the one which is just conventional love. Then there's the debased, lustful form of love. Then there's the familial love version. Gods have different faces, and when you have such an obvious example, such as a moon, which has multiple phases of light and darkness, does it not make sense to have that? Especially when it comes to the concept of morality.
It's not even just morality, it's the philosophy.
That too.
It all is just very strange and different than you would get from your standard.
Like as it says in describing who are the other gods and the description of chaos gods, um, chaos is a divine form of the life-death duality, and the gods fear it the way living mortals fear death. But it can be conquered and harnessed, as the goddess proves. Each thing has its place for those understanding the entirety of the cosmos, even if it is only as a precautionary tale. Not everyone is ready to understand such philosophies, although initiates always have a greater understanding.
Now, let me put it like this. I'm going to make this even more. I won't call it obvious because it's not obvious. The way that the Lunars view chaos is dangerous. It is incredibly dangerous because it assumes that you can touch it and come away unchanged.
No, you completely can. I, Asek Ahriman, or Magnus the Red, completely can commune with chaos with no side
There's
effects whatsoever.
there's another great analogy for the Lunars. They're the Thousand Suns.
Yes.
They are dealing with powers and things which, well, yes, you can in fact cheat the Chaos Gods. The Emperor did it. If you believe the Chaos Gods, uh, and the Emperor to a degree, uh, it is completely fine. You can go away and you can walk all that very powerfully. The problem is that there's still a price you're paying. There's still problems with this. It's not a
Listen,
unique and powerful thing that you can get away with. I mean, if you consider the Emperor as the Red Goddess, it sort of works.
listen. I'm Saul, and I can totally commune with the Witch of Endor to talk to the dead, even though my religion prohibits me from dealing with witchcraft.
Is it bad I'm just envisioning the Golden Throne turning into a gigantic mechanical bat that flies around?
No, because that's rad, and I 100% am down
Well,
for that.
actually, no. What the hell is the Golden Throne? How many does it devour every single day?
Oh god. Oh, and that came later. That came after
And what?
this. You
And what?
sons
And
you sons of
and
bitches.
and what will happen? And what will happen once that throne is destroyed?
You
What warp portal is
jackasses.
behind there?
I think that this is not intentional. I highly doubt that's intentional.
Oh no, it's not.
It's
I mean, then
hilarious
again,
It's
the
though.
still
the
really
brew
funny.
are beastmen, but
The brew are beastmen, but we'll get into that. So if you, Adam, if you scroll down to the who are the other gods on the next page after the basics of the Lunar Way, it also shows a nice map of the lunar religion and its
where
I'm
it's
showing it.
located.
The
where
Lunar
where it
Empire,
is.
which there's the Heartland, which is obviously Paloria. There is the expansion regions because the Lunar Empire has been very rapidly expanding, particularly in the south, if you can't see, into Dragon Pass. And then there's where it is influential because they either have tributaries or their preachers have made it that far. I find it interesting they have
Yes,
entire sections of Fernelia, which is pretty far away and
yes.
isolated.
There's the reason. Oh, let me
The
explain this.
Aurelian properties.
No, they're I don't know if they're called the Aurelian
They
properties,
are. They are. It says so right
but
there.
what I do know about them is that they're very. It's a very interesting thing. See, there's a thing called the Syndic's Band, which was created by these sorcerers over in Luxom. It effectively just created these entire regions of Ginnertal that you could not navigate. And you couldn't go past them. You tried to walk into them, you just walk out in a different place around there, and it's just like, what's even going on? This was to cut them off so that they could create a utopia. However, now that the Syndic's band is failing slowly but surely, because the Red Emperor, the Red Goddess did a trick, the Lunars did some real magical trickery involving flying boats and a few other things. The it's failing and it's coming apart. And
There's a bunch of
as these
things around
places,
it, yeah, if I remember right. There's a lot of like
uh,
hordes of monstrous tribesmen.
basically these sections of Frenella all got cut off from one another. It wasn't just a wall hiding everything in. It was also containing other things they didn't want to interact with their perfect utopia. So this created a few accidents, like the Kingdom of War, and there's an entire nation of storm bulls somewhere in there. I I don't have to explain, I hope, how
How bad
how
that is?
bad that is for everyone,
Welcome,
because
tiny chaos men. I'm not a
it's not
chaos
even
worshiper.
that. It's storm bulls. They'll just destroy everything. They don't give a shit. The
But
the
we should though, I do think skipping a bit of pages, but start with talking about what the Lunar Empire is.
Yeah, because
Yes,
we will
to
cover most of
understand
the
the lunar
pantheon.
faith.
Yeah.
Yes, to
So,
understand the lunar faith, you have to understand the lunar empire. This is not a this is not a faith of multiple empires or peoples. This is a faith that is tied up
and there's the
explicitly inside of the lunar empire. It is
So
their
I
patron
have
religion.
to
It is
skip
the
this
official
page.
religion.
just
I can show the genealogy,
Just skip to
perhaps.
page 14. Just skip to
yeah.
page 14. We'll explain
There we go.
genealogy later. The lunar empire has in summary, the Lunar Empire is probably the largest single political entity inside of Ginnertala, with possibly the most people in it. Though that could be argued to be Corellia, but that's a little bit difficult to say. It is without a doubt the most geopolitically influential of the current states inside of Ginnertala. It's again, its traders reach all the way down into Frenella. It goes all the way like the ramifications in its run-on effects have basically dominated the center of the continent.
But to begin, this the area around it, primarily, what was it?
Peloria.
Peloria, was ruled over by the decadent Carmanian Empire. 7 individuals got together and performed a ritual. The ritual created or brought about a girl who is the Red Goddess. She
Known as
lived as a
Telos.
mortal. She lived as a mortal for 27 years and then ascended to the moon, the red moon, which
Essentially,
appeared.
the moon was and became
It's
again
it's more complicated, but the to
because it
summarize,
fucks with God time. Yes, it was
But
and became again.
suffice it to say, this movement then led a revolt and was able to oust the Carmanians and establish their own empire, which
Which
is
was mainly
incredibly
because the
efficient.
Carmanians were fucking loathed by the original
Yeah.
Darahapans.
the
So
Carmanians are a fun one. They're
they
actually
are
slightly
they
Malchione,
yeah,
which
they
is a
are
completely
governed
different faith.
yeah, they are governed by, at the top, the Red Emperor, the son of the Red Goddess, and who reincarnates through different masks.
Which, if you're curious, this is actually based on, and I didn't even realize it. This is actually based on the Old Kingdom understanding of pharaohs. Like the first 5 dynasties had a habit of doing
Well,
something like that.
that's the thing. The emperor is a living god, and I do mean that because he is. He's the direct son of the red goddess.
Which was
He
one of the
can, in
titles of the
fact, keep track of
pharaohs,
all these lands.
son of the sun.
He is, in
And
fact, the high priest of Yelm. He
son of the
is
yes,
of
son
a
of this. So for the Darahapans, who believe in a patriarchal deity, they're like, oh, this guy's actually the offspring of our god. So perfectly fine.
well, no. What he is, and I'll be very direct here. No, he's the grandson of Yelm,
Yep.
because one of Yelm's daughters is the red goddess.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure,
Basically,
that makes
you could
sense.
argue this is a case of the cosmology being forcible. Like when they did their ritual, they had to essentially break cosmology to let this happen.
Like, yeah, how do you add a god to a pantheon?
That's what chaos is for, and that's why chaos is bad. If
It
you try to
gets
use it too
complicated.
much.
It would be like forcing Jews to remember God had a wife
He did.
He did.
and somehow jutting it back into the religion.
There are
Right.
reconstructionists that have tried that.
So
We
to
call those
give you an idea,
heretics.
the Red Emperor and his immediate relatives are the elite. They are the ones where most of the ruling dynasties are married into the Red Emperor's family in some way, shape, or form. Personal servants, family, concubines, descendants, priests, moon lords. All these people are the ones that are on top. The
And then
administration, though, is carried out by scribes below them, which are enforced by the tax demons. We will get to the tax demons.
There's the
There
core
are
region, and
you,
then there's
you,
the
you,
satrapies and
yeah.
provinces, which is a
I
little
was
bit
gonna
of
say
Achaemenid.
you think the IRS
yes,
is bad. They aren't tax demons.
yes. Now, when we get into the satrapies, you should note that there is the first blast, which is where the originally things happened.
And
The
as you
Lunar
can see,
Heartlands are
the
several
heartland,
kingdoms all thrown together.
and then the
Uh,
recently conquered territories, Talistar, which the new game by Slytherin Games, I believe, is takes place in.
yes, Talistar is right next to Dorastar. The satrapies are various levels of lunarized. There are some that are very lunar, like Vaunch, really. Vaunch is pretty lunar.
It was one of the
Talistar,
first
less so.
expansion regions.
Hole
Yeah,
is very lunar, and so is Tarsh.
Lunar Tarsh, yeah.
Well, no, even old Tarsh has a lot of lunar influence because you're still trading with them quite a bit. They don't go for it. But yes, we'll cover the tax demons when we reach the Red
Yeah.
Emperor. They're fun.
yeah.
They're
No
really
worries,
So
Troll
fun.
Killer. They're a thing.
being aware of there was going to be another page of a woman with her breasts out.
Is this the
That
Uh,
priestess?
is
this is the
Jariel.
Pretus. That
This
is
is
actually
Jariel,
Jariel.
and this is her. Yes, that is
Oh,
Jariel. That is Beatpot Elwyn that she has subjugated.
okay.
This is a veneration of her power.
I can't really show anything besides that, so there you go. There's her
we
legs.
have to we have to show the
I showed
But
you
the
her legs for 1 second. It's fine.
the other
yes.
thing
Now there are a
about
bunch of families
there
that
are a bunch of
control
families,
things.
but uh, another thing is that the Lunar Empire operates in a cyclical wane of traditionally 54 years.
Yes, which doesn't this sound like a certain Mesopotamian calendar that was followed by a certain Mesopotamian conglomeration?
Hmm.
It's almost like Sumer or something.
But effectively, how they tell time is in these cycles, these wanes.
They are a literally lunar-based calendar. Well,
Yes,
that's
it is based on how the moon works, which is that the wane comes from when the goddess first arrived, then went back, and then when she came back.
everything has a cycle of rising and falling. So, first wane, they built up. Same with the second wane. Third to fourth wane, they were conquered by a nice man by the name of Shang Solaris. To just make it short, he's Genghis Khan, but also a cannibal.
He's on the moon. Don't think about it.
He's in a dungeon on the moon because he pissed off someone really really
Then on
badly.
then on the fifth wane, um, they started to rebuild under Han Il, who brought corn.
Yeah, so here's the weird thing. Greg Stafford also originally had potatoes, but he got rid of them, and I have a reason
No,
on
that was
why.
more Jeff than that.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
No, I know
They
why.
ex-
Do you want to know the
A
real
lot of
reason
so
why?
they hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
So the real reason why I think they got rid of potatoes is specifically because potatoes are such a game changer in terms of how agriculture works that you cannot have a traditional Bronze Age style of agriculture with them. The amount of calories you get per tuber is so ridiculous that you can have very small yeoman farmers without them.
You know what
So it would
I would do then?
completely change the tone if you had
I
them.
would make I would make potatoes some sort of gluttonous chaos demon.
You could do. I would have them only exist in Doraster, and just every now and again, one of them just turns into a giant monster that eats you for starches.
Yeah. So
Oh,
expand after.
or alternatively, what you could do, because here's a fun fact about potatoes, they only exist because of crossbreeding with tomatoes, because both are members of the nightshade family. This is actually why they took a while to be adopted, because people thought they were poisonous. You could just keep them poisonous because they were damn near impossible to eat originally, at least for their original cultivars.
All right. So lunars keep expanding,
Closing straw.
expanding.
Behold, corn. By the way, it requires a
Yeah.
blood ritual. Don't think about it.
Yeah. And then in the seventh wane, um, well, they kind of bit off more than they could chew, or rather, a dragon bit
honestly,
off most of them
I
because
I should.
No, they've gotten their asses kicked a couple times. This
So
is just
we
the
got
worst
They-
a map of Genartala here that was posted in the Discord.
Yep. Which,
It's
if you want to
accurate
go to our
enough.
Discord, we have a link to it in our description.
Oh
It
man,
is mandated you do so, or else we will fine you 30 lunars.
20 lunars.
Indo-Talmudic foodism for
20
Shanashala.
lunars, fair enough.
It's
Yeah,
close.
close me draw. That is damn near perfect.
It is basically perfect.
But where the game of Glorantha kind of starts is right after the entire provincial army was devoured by a literal dragon.
It happens. Don't think about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But
The
yes,
the though the next section is now onto the Red Moon.
the Red Moon itself. It is there in Glorantha. You could visit it. It has a timetable depending on where you are because it's in a physical location on Glorantha. So where you are makes what phase the moon is different.
You know what's interesting? The image for the Dying and the Black Moon are almost the same.
That might be an error.
Yes,
That's a secret.
it's
Interesting.
because it's not okay. Because you've got to remember that the days of the week, it's that the Dying and the Black Moon are when it is in fact kind of really, really black. You don't see it at the time because that's the start and the end of the week. If you are in First Blessed, that's how it works. You can see.
And then they've actually
Okay.
mapped out the moon.
Oh yeah, you can
Yes, there
actually
is a
visit.
map of the
That's
moon.
why.
You can
So,
visit. This is there are in fact locations, and they specify them in
such
this
as
book.
the Bat Pen,
Well, before then, so here's
Birdland.
some fun descriptions about the moon. It's not always the same color, though she does move it. Not move in the heaven. Her visible phases change. One light, one dark. Blah blah blah. The moon is only 40 kilometers in diameter,
Yes,
and once on the moon, it's your point of reference. The surface of the moon is down and away from the moon, comes up. Those who have traveled to the moon claim that one can travel from the above pole to the below pole in 2 to 3 days. So this is a tiny little planet.
it's not very large, no, but you've got to understand that it's visible from most of Genartala. Like you can see it. It's bright. It's there in the sky.
There are also
It has its
oceans.
own light. Yes, it has its own oceans, which are actual oceans.
Forests? Oh, you know what? That actually sounds like a really goofy, like, hey, let's start on the moon. That sounds like a fun shit post.
There is a campaign scenario that does start on the moon, and I love it. But
There, there's also Shang's scars, which
yeah,
is when
Shane
Shang
Solaris
literally,
kind of
yeah, he blew up part of the moon.
blew up part of the moon. Don't worry about it.
There's also, funny enough, the ancient moon religions, which makes sense that they're connected to the sun god because they're written in the timeline as the Dara Hoppins,
Because this is the Dara Hoppin calendar. Yes,
Also,
in which it
moon,
because the
goes.
lunar
there have
calendar,
been more than one moon.
as you can see, there are 7 of them.
Versurtha Sendenia. Hey, isn't that the name for a moon in our world?
Sedenia?
Or
Don't
Sedna?
think so.
Not really. These are based similar to a degree on Sumerian king epics and the different
Oh
Vedas,
no,
the Vedic
Sedna's a
eras.
planet. It's a
No,
dwarf planet.
and it's also not called that. Then there's the Lacilia era, the Gera
The
era,
Gera,
the Orgeran era,
the
the Nathic
Nathic, and
era.
then finally the Red Goddess.
Yes, and I want to note something about the Nathic era. She incarnated for 75 years as Nysalor. That's a connection that we will come back to.
But first are the primary lunar
This is
religion
the
or cult,
initiate religion.
This is the one
This
the
that
is the
Seven
they
Mothers.
preach to everyone, and it's a way to get them into their culture group slowly.
And if you
It's not even
notice,
slowly. This is the baseline religion for much of the empire.
and if you notice, 3 of them are men.
Yeah, I mean, what do you? What? Yeah, the mothers of the Red Goddess.
Yeah, they're still called mothers because they are mothers. They birthed the goddess.
They were responsible
Yes,
for her creation.
they are Teal and Ormari, who was drawn from apparently at random from the streets of Turing for the ritual.
Chiquila Witch, which is the Spindle
He's
Hag.
Queen
She,
Isola.
who is the queen of what is now First Blessed. She Who Waits, which we will not talk about. Dan 5
Dan.
Zoran, who is a bloodthirsty outlaw. Genfeld Tarnils, who is the ram and the warrior, a Euthopian nobleman.
And then
And
Iripi
Iripi
Ontor, the
Ontor.
brown man, known to have been an outlawed priest of Lankor Mai.
Yes.
You might know of Dan 5 Zaron because a lot of prisoners and a lot of former bandits forced to find penitence will usually pick him as a patron.
Well, his cult is interesting. We will cover it when we get
We'll
to this.
cover all of
So
them.
Also, they are all gods now.
Also,
they are gods.
Closing straw is going Emperor. It happens quite often, actually. In fact, that if you
There's an
go to
entire
our
spell for that.
if you go to our Earth Cult book, which is rated 18 plus, that's where the spell you can find is.
That
Because
is
to
in
be
fact.
you can, due to the way Orlanthe work, be a man and become a priestess of Ernalda and give birth.
You do have to be pregnant, and there is a spell that will just make you pregnant.
It comes
It's
out of your
magic,
belly
bitch. We
button.
don't
Don't
gotta
worry.
explain shit.
It comes out of your belly button. Don't worry. Yes, Greg Stafford thought of that. It's similar to how Ed Greenwood thought about how drow breast milk tastes. Yes, he actually has an answer for that.
He answered that on a Discord, and it's still floating around, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever read.
I believe due to the contract he has with Wizards,
That
it's
is
canon.
technically canon. Yes.
So the Seven Mothers, if you were to visit them, from its 42 gates on the in the Ruby City on the Red Moon, you can visit them. There are also passages there to the God Time.
Well, yeah,
right.
The moon is so part
Resurrection
of this.
is also a part of this cult's function.
Because they look and see the Red Goddess died and came back to life. You can too.
So did several members of their cult.
It does happen.
Also, they all have their own unique iconography because they're all supposed to sort of representing a part of the moon's cycle.
You know what I just
the
realized?
full half moon, the crescent go moon.
I just realized something really funny.
What?
George R. Martin, you fuck. You stole a 7 who are 1. I know this because look at that iconography, you fucking fraud.
No, he did not.
No, you don't understand. She Who Waits, comparative to the stranger.
Funny. I mean,
Teoladori,
yes.
just similar to the maiden.
We got the mother, you got the crone.
The crone.
The problem is you don't have the smith. You don't have the smith.
No, the priest of Lankor Mai, dude.
Yeah, then how the fuck is Dan 5 Zerone the father?
Warrior.
Because Yennefer Tarlis is specifically the warrior.
But who better to be a warrior than a
Actually,
father?
no, think about it. What is a trade but banditry?
Oh my god.
George R. Martin, you are fraud.
You are reaching so much on that one.
Well, also remember, he's his devotees are often used to do penitence legion repair work. So
look, the basic nature of the Seven Mothers is that it is an introductory cult. It is the baseline way of how you start to be illuminated into the mysteries of the Red Goddess.
Yes, and what I mean that it is an introductory cult, lay members just put their name on the paper lists and are kept there until the next full moon when they are burned and they must be rejoined. Which means you sort of can, once you're done with the cult,
every week.
Or if you want to be put on the wood lists, those records are kept for 5 years.
They are rather simple. The point being, though, that this cult is the most powerful in the provinces.
They also teach Speak New Pelorian.
Yes, they teach writing and reading. It's not just cultural conversion. This is a cult that is oftentimes, even in Lunar Heartlands, this is your education cult. This is the cult that everyone goes to.
They take care of the poor fund.
Yes, they take care of the poor. They distribute food for them. They do a lot of outreach, even in the provinces, because they are the main missionaries of the empire.
Also, there are a variety of mundane. Yep, we already covered that.
Yep. And they teach lunar sorcery, which
Also, their favorite
The
passions,
thing is,
indoctrination. The Red Emperor.
the main thing is that I should note here, they give that food to everyone.
doesn't matter if
They're lay members or not. You can go to a temple and you will in fact be fed and sheltered. They won't heal you, but they will feed and shelter you.
This is actually kind of cleverly insidious. I love it. Because think about it. It teaches you to venerate and worship beyond all, venerate and worship the Red Emperor. It provides basic amenities with no questions asked. To get better benefits, you have to join properly and learn the culture. And it teaches you the many different aspects through gods that you can incorporate into your own pantheon before you drop them. This is actually really clever.
what's a little evangelism among friends of the Red Goddess.
No, I actually like that. That's really clever. By the way the lunar timetable works are that well,
So
your spell abilities vary depending on the phase.
they vary, but look at those
There's 2 days
bonuses.
of which where you can only use 1 point rune spells. You got nothing. The next ones are 2 points. On the half days, you have all spells available, and then the full moon is, oh yeah, duration is doubled. It's freely stackable. All spells are
The ones
available.
that have a time limit last longer, yeah.
Yeah, it's all very good. Also, their rune magic is taught in stages over 7 seasons.
And some of them are very powerful,
In
like
which,
regrow limb.
well, you start with Regrow Limb, then to be able to summon or dismiss a loon, dismiss an elemental, Mind Blast, Reflection, and finally Madness.
Which makes sense because, full moon lunacy.
Hmm.
Well, more accurately, they're available after that point because these are the really impressive spells, you could say.
And then once you get,
Lu-
here's the thing, realize this, once you get to the highest level, the Rune Lord, you get the following rune spells: Bless Maze, Chaos Gift, a one-time use Resurrect, and True Sword.
Yes, you
Because by
do.
the time you're at this level, you're
Well,
gonna learn some things.
you're aware that as the red goddess does, that light and darkness are one of the you basically see the world not necessarily for what it is, but what it could be, and you achieve chim.
I don't see that under
Under
the
Chiefs
Rune
and High
Lord bit.
Priest.
That's a bit of a
Yes.
different thing.
Oh.
So to give you an idea, that's if you are a high priest or a chief. Most people never reach this. The the high priests are a bit of a different level, I guess you could say. Rune lords are more common than high priests, for one thing. Rune priests are also way more common. It's very rare that you'd see like chief and high priests are rare comparatively. The subservient cults I should mention is that the seven mothers are served by loons and the young elementals, and each individual cult has its own subcult for people that specify in this. To give you an idea, you can join the main line Seven Mothers cult and then use that to go into full on worship of one of the Seven Mothers, which they have write ups for each of them,
Yes, they do.
aside from She Who Waits.
The spirit of reprisal, by the way, there is no spirit of reprisal,
Why
but
would there be?
here's the thing: rejecting it, you're still subject to the lunar phases, which means you're actually crippled.
Well, you're subjected to that normally anyway, as part of the lunar magic.
So there's a variety of subcults. This is She Who
Hmm.
Waits,
And
but
there she is. She's
The
waiting.
subcults
yeah,
are, as we've said before, they are the Seven Mothers: Tilo Nori, Cheklula the Witch,
which isn't
Dizzola, She Who Waits,
particularly
and Five
developed that
Saran.
much.
Well, they will develop them. And the main
Hmm.
thing about She Who Waits is that she is a mystery. She is the unknown seventh part of their quest to bring her back.
And then you have others, such as obviously the Red Goddess, Etiris, who is a daughter of Osiris,
Yep,
and
that's the
therefore
prey
is
deity.
the lunar goddess of trade, because obviously you can't have a Lightbringer god of trade.
Oh no, like they get
You
the
could,
Atiris and the
but
Osiris
it's
cult
easier.
are No, the Eteries and the Isseries cults are friendly with one another.
Well, yeah, they
You
are
have
kin, after all.
Haniel.
Haniel, Harwind Elthippa, the Red Dancer of Power, the
More.
Emperor Yanaranus, the
And
Young
then the
Elementals.
young elementals, which I find interesting as they were spirits of like the elements,
Of
but
the
they were
elements,
born
but they
when the
were
world
imprisoned
ended.
outside of time. Yes, they're imprisoned outside of time. So, effectively speaking, this is something that the Red Goddesses worshippers, through the Seven Mothers, can do that no other cult can, which is that they are not restricted on which elementals they can summon, aside from air. Because air is in direct contest with the Red Goddess because they've taken her space, which is the middle air.
Hmm.
Another point
Gonna
is that
have to use this to get past
Red Dancer, who
the
is
Red Dancer. Well, not the Red Dancer, but the one afterwards, actually.
yeah,
A little too much
Because
depicted stylized
this is a
nudity.
big thing that they talk about right here, right away, is what is the thing about the Lunars and Chaos? What's going on here? The Lunar religion understands that there is a place for chaos in the balance of time.
And
It
they
is
understand it
a
because of
religion of
its
freedom.
mutability.
Yes, and to attain cosmic freedom, it needs to understand the chaotic vonage of mindlessness in the void. And they're uh, alien to most minds, right? They are
Not only
incredibly
alien, actively
difficult.
corroding, rotting, destroying. Yes, the Red Goddess and Nysalor were able to stare at that shit and tolerate it. But what of the
But to
people
be more
around them?
specific, let's be here though. They of course it is unnecessary for lunars to be exposed to the gruesome chaotic things of the cosmos. And the most awful are no more loved by the loyal citizens than they are by their enemies. However, uh, the lunar citizens have a surety that these horrors can in fact be controlled. After all, that's what the Red Goddess has done.
That's what
It's what
she's
she's
factual
done
controlled the
existence
repeatedly.
is.
Principate. There's the Brew Regiment. Hell, there's even a regiment of vampires.
Yes. Mind you, I should note, in light illumination does leave chaotic beings free to choose their own path.
After all, there is the brew healer that we've mentioned repeatedly.
Yes. The main thing about this, though, is that it's practicality.
As for the glow
I-
line, so the red moon sits in the sky and views all of the lands on her that is conquered. So you can
yes,
see the red
and
moon anywhere. There's also the lunar
yes,
temple aura.
yes, we'll get into that in a second because there is this talk about the glow line and
Also,
the temples of the reaching
we're
moon.
past. I believe we're past the page, so
We are. We're past all that.
I skipped ahead for our viewers, don't worry.
I'm still seeing it on. But
Wait, is it still on? Did I
yeah,
fuck up?
I think it. I think it still is.
For fuck's sake, thank you.
Now, the Lunar Way has proven dominant in Peloria, and she is in strife with the air gods, and a lot of this is because of their nature compared to each other. It's stability of a cycle versus the wildness of air. There's a lot of stuff
Very.
going on with that. And the temples of the reaching moon should be explained very briefly. Effectively speaking, there's this thing called the glow line. If you remember our talk about Nysalor, the Bright Emperor had a thing called basically the Bright Line or the Light Line that you could tell where the Bright Empire ended and where it started. Another fun parallel, isn't it? But
I
the
wonder what
glow line is
Argrath is gonna do.
but effectively the glow line is a lunar sorcery trick. They figured out a way to spread the light of the red goddess further and keep it on at its full power permanently.
So that
So
moon is out
effectively
there.
within the glow line, there is no problem with lunar magic. Lunar magic instead always operates at the half moon. It isn't quite as powerful as it can be outside of the glow line, but it is always a steady, stable, always working force. This is the red goddess's light, after all. And the glow line pulses and recedes and flows a little bit with the cycles of the moon.
And you can visibly see it
But it's
because, like
always
the bright line, it's visible literally as a thin veil of glowing red light.
yes. And once you're inside of it, you don't even notice that though. It's a very magical structure. It's a very interesting structure too, honestly. How it's maintained is through these temples of the reaching moon. There are 7 of them currently. They tried to make an 8th in Dragon Pass. That one got eaten by a dragon and during the Dragon Rise. The main thrust, I could say, of the Empire's desire to make these is that you've got to remember, otherwise their enemies are able to plan around their weakness.
They literally know,
Because
oh, the moon's not out. Time to kill him.
Black Moon, time
this
to
is
time to
this is
goon.
moon moon's out, goon's out, basically.
So this is
The
another thing they've done is lunar weapons. Yennefer Tarnils fought Humacht, and he was cursed to no longer be able to wield Humacht's sword.
Yes,
So
remember,
that's
he
what.
was a follower of Humacht. He was a warrior of Humacht. And, well, he fought an avatar of Humacht during the Castle Blue and bested him, or at least fought him to a standstill. And in the process, his sword was permanently bent. He could no longer wield the sword that he once did.
So he wielded a bent sword.
Essentially, this is why lunar soldiers have curved swords.
It's
Copis.
in honor of their deity. The Copus is the primary weapon of the Lunar Empire. You know what a Copus is. You've seen it with like
A Kopesh.
a Khopesh. Yes.
It's an Egyptian
Sickles are also
axe sword. So interesting thing about the Khopesh, it was designed as kind of a midway point. Essentially, it was a sword that was designed to still have utility outside of it.
Also, can it
I would
pull the shield away?
I was
It
also
also
going
allowed you to leverage more force. Yes.
No, the Khopesh is very different than the Khopesh is more of like the bend of the sword creates a curved surface on the outside that acts more like an axe head. It's still got a straight line. It's not curved inward. That's a different kind of blade. That's more of a falcata, which
Fair
is
enough.
also a style of sword that is used by the Lunars. Is more of this falcata style of Kopis, or
They also
oftentimes
use
called
war
the Penton
sickles.
version of the blade.
They also use war sickles, war scythes, and
They also use, yes, the falx, which is
the
what, like, if
Romphion, which is a really disgustingly effective two-handed weapon. It is
yes, remember
essentially
the
a
lunar.
great sickle that is turned on its side upwards and turned into a sword. The
The
Thracians
main
in
thing
our
about that,
history
the
were
Thracius,
masters of it
the Thracian armor, it was so effective against by the Thracians against the Roman legions that the legions,
because it could
as a
peel open the
whole,
segmentata
they changed the way that they were arming and armoring themselves to deal
because
with
you
it
could
because
hack a dude in half with these.
it could get through gaps in like the segmentata. It could get through around helmets very easily. It was a nasty weapon.
It is one of the only times that
But
the
yes,
legions
they have
changed in that
curved
regard.
swords. Can you believe it? Curved
They have swords.
swords.
Lunar
It
pills.
makes sense though, because curved sword mimics the crescent moon if you think about it.
But then we
Yes,
need to
and
bring up the
the
white
white
moon.
The
moon.
promise of
The
the
white
white moon.
So,
moon
the
is
white
part
moon,
of this philosophy.
it's this growing philosophy that says that the empire serves its place. It's not meant to be there forever.
Well, this is
It's
a
a,
statement of the Red Goddess that eventually, when the world is pure, the moon will be white, as all have accepted her teachings.
so basically they're a cult that um well, the red basically believing we need to start the end now.
Yes,
Essentially,
they're sort of apocalyptic.
the end of the age is supposed to be when the moon turns white. You could also argue that this isn't a way to try to prevent what the fuck happened to Nysalor, because it gives an
Right.
end
It's a
condition.
transition. To put it, as somebody put it one way, this is the difference between the white moon and the red moon in terms of believers is the white moon 100% believes the time has come to get rid of the empire, dismantle it, because it's no longer serving the proper purpose, which is the enlightenment of the world. It has become an empire that is self-sustaining and growing to expand to meet the needs of the growing empire. That's antithetical to what should be the case.
And
And
this has gotten to the point where they're using human sacrifices, and apparently, the city of the White Heart, where the keepers of the White Moon gathered, just disappeared in 1623.
yes, there are a lot of things. A lot of the populace is not really fond of the White Moons being persecuted because the White Moons are effectively preaching lunar orthodoxy. They are. There will be a White Moon. There will be this transcendent peace where there is no more need of empire,
And
no more
And
as
they're
need of any of
as
this.
popular in
as
these
close as
We
straw
areas
are,
because
put it,
they're in peace at this point.
yeah,
Oh,
because we are all one. Why would we need any of that?
you know what I
And
realized there are? They're the Christians. They're the early Christians.
sort of.
no,
Pat,
no.
Sort of. They're more a type of heresy that's against the state.
That's a good way to put it. Their interpretation is mostly against the state, because their entire view of the state is that the state at this point has transcended its usefulness and should be dissolved,
Which
which the
oh no,
that's
state, of
bad for
course,
the Red
does not
Emperor
like.
because
no, as close as straw put it, they're pacifistic accelerationists.
that's not a bad take for
That's
them. Yeah,
accurate. That's accurate. They want the White Moon to come faster, and that's how they see it will happen.
but the whole point of the
Now,
White Moon, from a cynical point of view, a cynic point of view, is it delays the transition period. This is basically a bunch of people studying what happened to make Nysalor fail. Basically, why did the Bright Empire fail? And these were ways to try to get around that. At least that's from,
and
again, I'm using Arcat the Bodhisattva, which is a really cool article that I think I will link in a pinned comment for this one because it's really good. It's a really good read.
yes, it's Jeff Richards' take on well, one of the takes on Arcat,
It's a pretty good one.
and
I don't think
it is a good one.
it's not the eponymous take, but it's a good one.
Mhm.
It's a great interpretation of him, and what
I,
he
I
does and why he does it.
I do see this from Skull Killer. Anarcho lunatics.
Yes.
Anarcho-lunacy, yes.
Speaking of lunacy, behold, Bat.
The steed
Now
of
we
the
get into
red
the fun.
goddess.
This is one of my favorite cults in the book. This is flat
So,
out one of my favorite ones.
uh, in the Gods War in the First Age, the Crimson Bat was a terrible demon that Arcot destroyed. The red goddess brought it back.
Yes. I want to note this. Arcat beat the shit out of the Crimson Bat. This is attested to in multiple sources. He found this motherfucking thing and shoved it back into the underworld. One of his great deeds. Now, the Red Goddess brought it back because, well, she kind of needed it. Like, you have to understand. Uh, it haunted the hero world. It haunted the god world. It has its power, which is this glow spot that provides chaos. Now it actually operates as like a functional moving glow line.
It
Uh,
also can eat armies.
Yeah,
yeah, it's
and
huge.
and when I mean
It's
eat,
incredibly
it
powerful.
destroys everything. It's total obliteration, even down to the soul.
So there is a
Yes.
cult
Now,
dedicated to it.
It
the
requires
reason why, though,
25 intelligent beings that it needs to eat once per week.
which
How
isn't
many?
too bad.
Question: how many weeks are there in a Gloranthan season?
Wasn't it like
Uh,
35 or something?
it's let's see,
35 in a year.
eight per season, 5 seasons, so that's 40
40.
plus 2 of Sacred Time, 42.
So
So
42 times 25, that is
Let
about
me see.
under 7.
42.
Oh god, it's like about 700, I think.
So
650.
42 times 25, 1,000.
No, I fucked up the
50.
math. I fucked up the math really
Um,
bad. Yeah, 1,000.
so there's
that's a
been
year.
seven
Yeah,
wanes.
that's not too bad.
There's been 7 wanes though. So that's
That's a lot.
54
That's
times
that's
7,
about
About
you know
54,000 Wayne.
27.
yeah, 54,000 souls condemned to chaos. Whatever. I mean, it's a small price to pay. It's a nuke.
Speaking of which, life
So
after death. So the cult concerns itself little with life and death. Most believe the souls of the Crimson Bat's worshippers are
Yeah.
forfeit.
Oh no, here's the exact number: 425,250.
By the way, if you get eaten by the bat, you don't just get your soul consigned to chaos. It's annihilation, absolute oblivion.
also,
That's, by the way,
but right,
just what it
why?
needs to eat by sacrifice, and that's an average.
And that's if it's
All right,
It's eaten
tamed.
now
more.
When it's angry, it needs
can
more.
you let me? Can you let me talk, please?
No,
Okay.
go ahead.
The main thing about the Crimson Bat, though, is that why was it brought back by the Empress? Why not the Empress, by the goddess? Why did she need do this? There's a good reason for this. All of her enemies were realized that she was gone on her hero quest to establish her true godhood, and attacked First Blessed. Right, they attacked the lands that were under her protection. They were sieging her capital. It was awful. It was basically like the last ditch efforts. Everything's on the end. Yennefer Hardness is bleeding out on the walls, basically like having done his best to hold everyone back. And then suddenly the Red Goddess returns, riding the Crimson Bat, eats these massive armies, and saves the Empire.
And that is why the
It
bat exists.
That is why the bat is back, because it is possibly one of the greatest magical weapons of Glorantha. It is, in fact, under lunar control. They control this thing. They can send it
Well,
around.
kind of.
The Red Goddess has bound it
Well, the Red
to our
Goddess can
plane of
control it.
existence.
Her call can aim it. Keyword being aim it.
Well, the main thing about this is that because it acts as a miniature glow line, it can always be cast while it's flow. It's called like the glow spot. It depends on what's going on, and if it gets killed, it can be brought back by a bunch of sacrifices.
So here's the thing: the bat's evil. Not even lunar
The
citizens would
bat is
claim
evil.
otherwise.
Even the lunar citizens are like, this thing is
It
fucking
has
awful.
little bats
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
on it.
It is also the main thing about the bat, though, is that remember, the bat's not kept in the lunar heartlands. God, no. They're not that stupid. They keep it in the satrapies.
Yes, they do.
Because it's a great way to remind people, well, what happens
It's
when there's a
also think
rebellion?
about it like this. It's also a great way to get a bunch of dumb storm bulls to charge it and get eaten.
Yeah, and there you go. There's your feeding.
Like just like put
And
it in Tarsh and let the storm bulls conga line themselves to death.
right, it makes nomads really, really hard for them to live. It can defeat any tribal citadel. It can drive off the Pentons. It can do a bunch of things that they really like. Now, the bat is in fact evil.
But it's okay. Everything it it's all okay in the eyes of the goddess.
However, it brings good to the Lunar Empire by being its goddamn nuclear weapons.
And I
Like
do like
that's
saying
what this thing is.
starting play as a Crimson Bat initiate. The Crimson Bat cult is a chaos cult. It is not recommended for adventurers to start as initiates.
Well, yeah, you don't get a
I
lot out
I
of
want to
this.
know. Let me stop for a second here. We need to talk a little bit about the organization of this cult.
Yeah,
There are only 25 true members of this cult.
the rest are
There are
disposable assets.
there's a high priest. He has 4 assistant priests, 2 of which will always be at 90% more at bat mastery, and they sweep for bat food. The initiates number 15 to 40, and 5 always accompany a feeder on their sacred mission. The number of lay members changes constantly as the bat moves from place to place. If you're wondering why, this is very simple. The lay membership of the Cult of the Crimson Bat can be joined by anyone. They just must acknowledge the power and the might of the Crimson Bat and the Lunar Empire, and provide the bat with someone to sacrifice.
Correct.
They must donate all but one of their personal magic points when accepted. Captives that are going to be sacrificed can join the cult as lay members to try to avoid becoming bat food. Lay members are expected to fully aid the collection of food for the bat.
Food. Remember
They
what
do
food
not.
is again? It's people.
People. Lay members do not continue in this cult. This cult must be rejoined each week, and that is possible only in proximity to the bat, which moves regularly. This is not normally a problem, as most lay members let their status lapse as soon as it is
The
convenient.
mundane benefits. Lay members will be eaten by the bat last. Only after all
Only
non-cultists have been devoured.
the cult offers no skills to lay members at any price. However, it does offer at half the normal price the slow spirit magic. I wonder why.
Not for the
Also, its
bat.
holy day
For the
is
food.
freeze day, dark moon, and it must be fed or else it will rampage.
I mean, I do like
Yes.
the idea of being able to grow bat wings and fly.
Yes, that is pretty great. The initiative memberships of this are pretty fucking cool. Uh, so basically put, whenever there's a room for a new initiate, the candidate must then attend the next feeding the bat and donate all worldly goods to the cult. There's a 99% chance the bat will accept you. 1%
Nice.
chance, if you roll 100 basically on the dice, the bat rejects you, devours you by draining all your power, and eats you.
And
You
as to
cannot
remaining,
reincarnate. You're done.
yeah, you're done. Requirements to remain: you have to obey the commands of their priests and feeders and work to keep the bat fed. Initiates must worship the bat on holy days and offer themselves as food if the supply is insufficient. And
This
this
is
is
imaginable
only,
only
yeah.
if the bat was among the lunar forces suffering a goddamn disastrous defeat. All spirits bound by the initiate must be fed to the bat, and every initiate is required to donate 90% of all earnings of the cult. The initiate is part of the Lunar College of Magic and cannot leave the cult under penalty of death until they have served for 20 years or are permanently crippled. They are not fed to the bat, however, unless they are, well, there are no other food. Any available non-cultists and all lay members are eaten by the bat before the first initiate, and then it starts with the most junior. While attending to the bat, the initiates have their food provided to them by the cult. They provide for all needs and expenses. Favored initiates may ride on the bat with rune priests. Initiates may join cults of the Crimson Bat, may join associated cults, but this disqualifies them for priesthood. Uh, the skills taught depend on the leading priest at the time, and their rune magic is not all common. They get a very specific set of spells.
Like invisibility,
Some of them are really
fangs.
cool, though.
Yep. Fangs, becoming a glow spot, power drain, which is the Crimson Bat
Batwing,
version.
Actually, no,
fangs.
I like fangs. Fangs do 2d6 damage plus bonus,
Yeah.
and they secrete
Uh,
an acid.
yes. With potence equal to the target's constitution. The target is, of course, immune. So
No, I'm
basically, put your constitution becomes the amount of potency for that poison, which can be very funny.
Okay, so
but
hear
They
me
can
out.
learn.
let's see.
Remember, I have the horrible idea for the Doraster line. You know, like Doraster's a great shitpost setting. Here's my new idea: Mr. Bat's Wild Ride.
Going into Dorester. Why the fuck
You're
is it going
taking the
into
bat to
Dorester?
Dorastor on the holiday.
No. Think about it. Think about it. All bat. You're not all members of the bat. You're basically a bunch of poor schmucks that have been forced to work with the bat.
And you've got to avoid that one
And the bat, because of a
batshit insane brute.
of a
Wait.
disastrous
You,
feeding ritual, rampages through the satrapy, and you think you're all dead. You wake up with the bat flying over Doraster, and
and
you
you've got
have
to
to
get rid.
you have to guide this fucking bat and
You've
survive
got to
without being eaten.
and you've got to stop that one brew that's like, I gotta have sex with it. Just imagine.
Bat Rune Priest does make a really good big bad evil guy. It genuinely is a great villain. So yeah, you can become a Rune Priest or a Rune Lord.
Yes. Don't. Basically,
It's
that's
not a
the
good idea.
that's the thing about it. Don't. This cult is awful. Like in terms of it is
It
an
makes
awful
the
cult to
Earth
be part of.
cults. It makes the Earth cults we covered, which weren't really necessarily playable, look good.
This
It
makes
is
the cult of
literally
the
a, it
Bloody
is
Tusk
literally a
look
cult in
like
which you must kidnap and sacrifice any human, pretty much any human you find, to a
a
giant
sentient being.
demon.
So
It gives a
you
shit.
can
There are
just grab a
people
bunch
that
of
would be in the
trollkin.
mood for that. Yeah.
Oh, you just bring Chokin?
Yeah, it
Fuck
don't
it.
matter.
Yeah,
What were you
yeah.
gonna say, Attack?
We don't need to stop on this too long.
I just well,
Yeah.
what was the cult you were gonna say is much better by comparison to the bat?
The cult of the Bloody Tusk.
Yes.
Yeah. But the next cult, though, is Dan 5 Zarone.
Uh, oh, I should note one thing here, though. They do make a point, though, that the bat usually has a bit of a problem because the if it gets killed, it must be summoned again by rituals performed by the Red Emperor. At which point, the current high priest is fed to the Crimson Bat.
Yep. By the way, you get a
Yeah,
unique skill, Bat Mastery.
Bat Mastery, which is about controlling the bat. Note that it only goes up to 90%.
By the
So you can
way,
never.
here it is. Here's what the bat can do to an entire army. Have fun.
Oh,
Yum.
In
The
any
bat's
case,
an
Dan 5
industrial grade
industrial
human
growth.
sacrifice wood chipper. That's not wrong,
basically,
Scrum.
yes, it is. It is that. Uh, Dan Five Zerone is the first of the Seven Mothers, given a full cult spread up here, and it is fun.
He was an outlaw who followed the rebel gods. He was
Before
a
Also,
killed for
also, thanks
pleasure.
for dropping by, Private Penguin. Thanks for the like.
Um, he was only connected to the powers of death, killing and murdering indiscriminately. He was brought down. There was a request from him to hunt down a dead goddess, which brought him into the conspiracy of the Seven Mothers. Dam5 followed her descent and captured her and sought to gain power over her, but to her surprise, he did not collect his owed due, but healed her instead and helped give birth to the Red Goddess. The Red Goddess opened Zavron's eyes to the suffering he had inflicted to others, and the goddess offered him a path of redemption.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. That's kind of what happened here. Was it genuine repentance? Maybe.
By suffering in the service of the Red Goddess, Dan5 Zavron was released from all suffering and was liberated from the chains he had made for himself.
Yes.
So that translates to being the hitman of the Lunar Empire.
Combination of that, and also it's a really good way to get people into your cult. Because he's the god of
Yes.
redemptive suffering and human suffering.
So,
Well, he
the
is accepted. He can purify anyone. It doesn't
Which is
matter
why
how
it's
terrible
very
of a person you
popular
are.
among criminals who might be set to have worse
Oh
punishments.
no, criminals don't want to join this cult. There's a very good reason for that because
here's what they must do. The initiate must renounce their name, and all familial, clan, and tribal loyalties, and sacrifice 1 point of power. All personal property is given to the cult. The new initiate is shaved and swears a vow of celibacy to be enforced by Gorgama and other underworld powers. Gorgama, all I'm gonna say, she
Gorgorma,
has a rune that gives you vagina dentata, and
I
that's all
don't
you need to know.
I don't remember if we talked about her in the Earth cults, but
We
yeah, she's
she
horrifying.
no, I think she's in the solar
her
ones.
her fertility rune is forever renounced. Many voluntarily accept neutering or castration. The initiate takes a new name with their old name put aside. They're marked and given a rough bearskin cloak that is worn over her shoulder. Uh, the distinctive attire marks them as members of the cult, and most cultists never wear anything but that cloak. There are no lay members of this cult. It is dedication or nothing else.
And you have very strict rules. Obedience. Obey all orders from the Red Emperor or his proxies. This rule supersedes all others. Failure to obey results is death. Celibacy. Non-neutered cultists are forbidden from even looking at cultists of other genders or lustfully at members of their own. Punishment is blinding and neutering. Purification through self-mortification.
They scour themselves, yes. No
Scour,
stealing.
flagellate,
Yes. In
pierce.
fact, every high holy day, you should just give yourself 1d6 points of damage to represent flagellation.
You are not allowed to steal. Punishment is removal of the offending hand.
And no harm
You are
to
not allowed to,
others.
unless ordered by cult superiors or the Red Emperor.
You also
And
can't
truth.
lie.
They are, yeah.
Like, just straight up.
However, the difference here is that members of the cult are under protection of the Red Emperor. Whatever they did previously, does not exist. It has been expunged. It is
And that's why
done.
if you're on death's row, this is your kind of your last shot. It's kind of your last shot at putting away the headman for one more day.
What is this, some kind of Dan 5 Zarone squad?
You joke, but that's part of their role in the lunar military. Is literally these are the forlorn hope. These are the people you expect are going to die. And
The
remember, they
ballista
aren't
of
even
Dan
allowed to
5's are on.
complain about it. Complaining about tasks imposed by the cult is grounds for torture or dismissal.
The Dan
And if you
5
are dismissed
doesn't.
from the cult, you're
You die.
dead.
The Dan 5 doesn't. You could totally, if you really wanted to as a shitpost, you could totally do that as like a
Yeah, the Dan
suicide
5
note.
doesn't. Yes. Uh,
But they do have
however,
some great spells, such as resist pain. You are literally
resist
immune
pain.
to all pain.
It
The
doesn't
target,
matter.
wait. The target may continue to act even if the head or chest is reduced to below 0, which I believe could include you getting your head cut off.
Yes.
No.
No,
It
not.
is only you can still be incapacitated with double the locations of the head. But the target may continue to act. So you're incapacitated but still able to act, and you will continue to die. You will only die though if your total hit points are reduced to 0, or you take triple or more damage to the head, chest, or abdomen.
Hence why they don't wear anything besides the cloak.
And that lasts for 15 minutes.
And silver track. You are able to magically track for the next 8 hours. You the tracker sees the trail. It may be cast upon a specific trail or a trail that shines.
Oh,
I
hey,
believe it
Mind's
basically
Eye
is,
has a
yeah,
pretty fun
You also
comment.
move faster.
yeah.
Mind's Eye
Oh,
says
yeah.
these are the starter car of the
It
Lunar
depends
Empire.
on
Yeah, I can
Oh,
see it.
uh
absolutely.
you no the starter car will get to them in later on.
Oh yeah, because of
They
the warrior.
These are
They're the
not the starter
Evosaurs.
car.
They're the
These are
Evosaurs.
your Eversor assassins, or I should note
The
this.
class of
They
sororitas that
they do not
failed
have
and go
rune
into the
lords.
bondage leather. That's what they are.
Repentant Sisters Repentia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they have. They I mean, to become a rune lord, you have to self mortify yourself enough. They are. They don't need a servant of a spirit of reprisal either, because let's face it,
Your existence is
they
agony.
if you are no longer under their protection, you will face judgment for whatever you've done. You'll face judgment from the cult for rejecting it.
But funny enough, not for what they had done during the cult.
Well, no, because they don't exist during the
Yeah.
cult.
As for
Associated
associated
cults
cults,
are
very
what you
common.
expect. You can actually join the cult of Dan Five Zerone and any one of the other subcults of the Seven Mothers.
Mhm.
Not a surprise to that. The
But
Red Goddess, of
mhm,
course.
Jesset, which is one more that you can get from.
which is Styx Shore, which summons Jesset, the ferryman, in his boat to the shore to deliver the summoner and the companions to the far side.
And last but not least, the Red Emperor, because no shit, and Alerta.
There's a few comments though about
Hunter
this
Prey
is that
Link spell.
Hmm?
yes, this is another one for catching people. They have a few others that are kind of interesting, but the most notable thing about this is Dan Five Zerone, his connection to Beat Alwyn.
He's believed to be an incarnation of Dan Five Zerone. Once a year,
Though
Beat
not a
Pod
member of the
prepares,
cult.
yep, an exquisite communal meal for members of the cult to remind them of the beauty that exists even within the stringent strictures of Dan Five Zerone, which is nice.
Next up is Dizola, also known as Dizola These Nuts.
Well, it makes sense. She's connected to the earth.
She is, in fact, fertility. This is effectively an Ronaldo analog to some degree.
So, so she
She
always
was a priestess
defied.
of her.
Yeah, she always defied the Carmanians. Her result: she was impaled, staked, cut, mutilated, and despite that, she did not submit or break. As she took her last breath, she met with the Spider Woman, who revealed her the web of creation. She bound herself back together and returned to life, fully healed with limbs and organs regrown.
In other words, she somehow managed to get in touch with Arachne
Yep. Also, a bit of a nod to I forget which deity, because this was a deity in the Orlanth pantheon that also went through that, if I recall
No?
correctly.
Mm,
Oh no, I'm confusing it with Dragon Pass again, the computer game.
oh. She shows
Dizola,
that
though,
physical
joins.
suffering and life are interdependent. This is not ascetic denial of life, but an integral part of mortal existence. Only by understanding this connection can one be released by the Red Goddess and enter ultimate bliss. The cult
Yes,
serves for those who want to meet the greater Red Goddess while continuing to live in the mundane world.
right.
And
She is a teacher, basically. The very closely related to the agricultural cults. She is very much so the Dendara analog, the Irnalda analog. She is important for a lot of reasons.
And also, because of her experiencing of suffering and continuing onward, that's why she's one of the key seven.
to the point
Yes,
where the after the initiates, the acolytes are part-time rune priestesses.
yes, she has the acolytes. One of the things to talk about here, though, is the initiates. The initiates are take a look at their rune magic.
Um, all
Summon
common
elemental,
rune spells
dismiss.
for free. Let's see. All rune magic is subject to lunar cycle.
Dismiss
Dismissal.
Earth Elemental, summon Earth Elemental, regrow limb.
Yes, because remember, this is assumed to be an aspect of the Seven Mothers cult. So basically, add those spells in on top of that.
Also, lay members can purchase the Resurrect spell, although it's expensive. But funny enough, we can
Yes,
bring up Gira, a prehistoric moon goddess who
Is known as the Suffering Woman.
Yep.
She was torn apart and dismembered, and then
Only
brought back together.
only when the Red Goddess went to hell and freed her did the children of mortal women have a chance at knowing pleasure and success. She was born before anyone had told her what was right or wrong. She was born when people were learning those things.
And there's not really any. They have standard restrictions for rune priests.
But she shows us a path towards illumination and liberation from suffering and pain.
No spirit of reprisal, by the way.
Well, that's the thing about these lunar cults. There aren't.
Yeah. But next up, though,
Uh,
is Itiris.
Oh no, there's also chaos gift to rune priestesses who also affiliate with the Red Goddess.
yeah, that's, I mean, just how the Red Goddess rolls. The
Yep.
Seven Mothers, of course, the Dendara, who gets Heal Body, which is basically a resurrection spell, but you have to be alive and be able to cast it.
And then there's
You
Gara who
get
gives
Resist
you
Pain.
resist pain, yeah.
Yes. Miscellaneous Notes, of course, is the standard
Same
that they
thing.
have for all these cult
Yep.
write-ups.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of
For
just
Lunar.
trying to skim ahead. This
So,
is
Yep,
Etrice.
Mister. Yep,
was a
she
daughter
is
was a daughter of a series, so not an actual daughter, I believe, but
a
just
follower.
a
A
follower who
follower.
was illuminated uh, and used her father's magic to scout for the Red Goddess.
I mean, I could have
She
told you.
used.
Okay. I was just going to
Sorry.
say, I could have told you that from the scales. Like, you can tell because of that in the Emperor.
Ah,
Because this series is usually depicted with the scale. Like, the scale kind of
yeah.
indicates what their role is.
She was able to track down God's war beings and challenge their magic from them. She aided in Yennefer Tarnis. She was present when the Red Goddess danced her way to apotheosis and actively spread the faith during the First Wane.
Also, if there's something you might be notice how the seven mothers all have elements from very popular gods from other pantheons.
Yes,
Hmm.
but this is not the seven mothers. This is
One of the
she's
seven.
not one of them.
Oh,
She's
one of
not.
the affiliates. It doesn't. It still highlights something interesting, doesn't it?
Well, of course she
She's
has. There's a trade goddess with her. Like that's the
yeah.
thing. The
Her cult is responsible not only for the merchants, but for collecting taxes from them, checking weights, measures, and the purity of silver, marketing, and setting the price for all commodities. There is no. You're not going to have a follower series just set up a market and then have trade go on. No, there are standards for all of these
which is what
prices
the
that are set.
Eteries cult handles. Yes.
Unlike many lunar
Uh,
cults, the Atiris cult tolerates a lot of things that dislike the lunar empires. In particular, the Lightbringer cult she is neutral towards, and she is friendly to Isseries.
yes, they're friendly to each other. They basically serve the same purpose and they're the same thing. Uh, there's of course a lot of talk about like where are they actually like dominant. Well, the answer to that is well, she often has a shrine inside of most markets, even outside the empire,
Mostly the
because
major cities.
yes, because well, she's there. She's a goddess of trade. She's kind of important in that way.
In some of the newer provinces, like Tarsh, for example, she probably has a shrine within her father's temples instead.
No, she controls the Mintarsh.
Well, you
Yeah.
get what I
Flat
mean.
out, she would.
If it's a weak control, it's usually she's a sub shrine and kind of
This would
pushed
be
to.
more like there are shrines to
Okay,
her in
I
Bold
guess
Home,
reading
and
the barbarian lands bit doesn't matter then.
because no, because Tarsh is very lunarized at this point. Like the
I
main
was just
cities
using it
Is
as an
of
Tar
example.
yeah. Oh, Jane, by the way, we're talking about the Lunar Way, the Red Goddess.
Yeah, we covered several of the mothers.
we've covered two of them so
Yeah.
far. This is exchange
I
spells.
like exchange spells.
It's a
This
good
is
ability.
very good,
You exchange spirit magic.
and it
So you
doesn't have to
can
be the same value.
Also, the magic you can get are at half price, which is pretty nice.
Yes, she of course Spirit of Reprisal is the seven robber demons. Basically put, if you leave this cult, um, the demons will find your enemies and tell them about everything you have and chase you down.
That's pretty good.
Very, very appropriate for her. She is associated with her father's cult. They often share a temple, as mentioned before. The main difference is whether or not which one is dominant. If it's a actually lunar
Yeah, if it's
area is going
lunarized,
to be
it's
Edwards.
her. If it's more barbarian, like out, I don't know, in the sticks, it's gonna be a series.
It'd be like in Sartar,
Fair enough.
in
Fair
some
enough.
of the
I was fucking up. I kept, for whatever reason, my brain was flipping the two. I
But
meant
then we
Sartar.
have
uh,
the Atiris caravan, which is apparently these caravanners are taken by take they are redheaded
they
children
go
of
out to
Pent,
Pent.
take these
Yes, they
children, bring
are.
them
It's part of the
back,
deal.
and then these these children nomads are able to travel all the way to Praelarela, which is where the Chinese equivalent culture is, and provides more than just the goods and the silk, ideas, cultures, and religion. They are the eyes and ears of the Lunar Empire in Pent,
Yep.
and yet they remain
Interestingly
kin to the
enough,
nomads.
this is a similar policy that older Egyptian dynasties used with the Nubians, at least to a lesser degree. It's not exactly. The Nubians were often recruited for police forcing. Interestingly
The thing
enough.
is that their loyalty is their own, and they did not report about the nomads that were coming towards the empire, and they have not really reported on many changes going on in there. They're certainly watching, but what they say is a different thing.
Also,
Maybe
another
you need
fun
to pay
fact
them
about
more.
Egypt: besides the Nubians, another common form of internal civic police were the Jews. In fact, actually, that's why
Boy,
there was a lot of Hebrews that were in Egypt during the whole Exodus element, because a lot of times they were hired on to watch over communities, especially in Lower Egypt.
I don't know how effective we would be as a police force. We wouldn't be able to operate on one day out of the week.
That's what the Nubians were for.
Ah,
Basically, both peoples were commonly used by the Egyptians to police, or served as border states too.
hmm.
So,
But
In
next
any
up,
Hanil,
case,
who
Haniel, the
Haniel.
lunar goddess and mother of maize. So when we're talking about why is it that we have corn in Glorantha?
well, just here you go. That's why you have corn. I'm gonna go with
Fat
that being
ass.
artistic. She has a thick dumpy, and
The
that's why there's maize.
I don't know why
the
being nude is needed to get corn, but okay.
Well, blood is.
So
I'm not kidding about the blood.
she was born in the fifth wane and is
she's the third inspiration of the Red Emperor.
or the red.
She
You mean the
is
red? Isn't the red goddess?
no,
Emperor.
the emperor itself, because the emperor is her father.
Ah,
She actually grew
One
up
of
when
the
Solaris was doing his shit.
yes, she
and
was a
so she's sort of
mystical,
part of the
powerful.
reestablishment
Yes, she became an
because
initiate of the grain goddess Peloria.
she
Pelora.
she literally traveled to the god time,
Yes,
bored a golden-haired son with her elf godlover, who gifted her a bag full of magical seeds. Their son died a tragic young death, but the seeds were useful in the hills of the Southlands, where Hani was instrumental in spreading the cultivation of maize through those regions.
And then she actually talked to a dragon until she died. It be like that.
yeah.
Hmm.
There's a lot going on. She changed Telmori into full wolves, lifting their curse. But
But I thought the
welcome to a few
Telmari
other
were
things.
human.
They are, but remember they can transform into wolves, and depending on the Telmori, they are forced to transform into wolves if they were the ones that were cursed by Nysalor, or their descendants. She dealt with the Penton horse nomads, and her final act was to prove herself to become a god, was to become a stepmother of the sun, and defeated the Ernalda as a beauty contest. It's it's
How?
hard to don't ask. This is god time stuff.
Basically, the best way. I think what happened. This is my attempt to reconstruct a hero quest. This lady went through a hero quest that went horribly fucking wrong, and because she was
No,
very
horribly right.
Horribly right.
horribly right, horribly fucking right, and due to her illumination knowledge, she was able to bullshit her way into becoming a goddess.
I mean, yes. She did that as well over in Darahapa. She birthed two gods. well, three, well, two of them actually. Sorry, two. There was a son, Twilight, and a daughter, Nightlight. They are worshipped together with Noonlight in one temple because
Hmm.
Noonlight is one of her other sons. So she's yeah, she's birthed gods, which already gives you something. She
She
is
she
the
she
reason why
also she
Tarsh.
also made the move on Yelm at one point, which
Yes, she did. She also, as I said before, she became the goddess of Tarsh. She is, in fact, one of the one of her children became the throne of Lunar Tarsh, which is part of the reason why Tarsh is part of the Lunar Empire. The Redlands, she went there. There is the Knights of Horror. We don't talk about the Knights of Horror. She disappeared and died there.
she dies multiple times. Don't worry.
No, she then the dragon kind of came back, set the Emperor's children down. Haniel was never seen again. She founded one of the most important families of the Lunar Empire, and is also, in fact, the reason why we have Jariel, the Razoress,
And also corn.
and also Corn. She is incredibly popular
The
as
best way
a
to
fertility
describe her,
goddess.
in my opinion, is Hanil is what happens when someone. I could see this being what happened. This was an actual campaign, like really early on. This is a campaign, and this is what happened with one of the characters after everything went horribly right during a hero quest.
It is certainly an example of what you can do if you are powerful enough
Or lucky
in
enough.
your magic and or lucky enough. The becoming a god is not out of the realms of possibility in Glorantha.
Especially if you're eliminated.
Oh yeah, no, if you're eliminated, you can do a lot of shit. A lot of crazy ass shit.
So NDR is asking, so they had an My Little Pony crossover? I don't know. Maybe. Nicholas goes, so are the Lunars part Aztec? A little bit. Not really. Not
Well,
really.
I know the Lunars. I know the Aztecs
The
human sacrifice. I don't think they did it
the blood
directly
sacrifices is
on
more
their
for the
corn.
corn. It's more for the corn to grow and more for the bat. It's not.
The sacrifice is entirely for the corn.
Yeah. Like the world's not going to
The
end. It's just corn needs it to grow.
But you
the
know what I
corn,
realized?
because remember, corn is a sacred thing. Is a sacred crop that was brought back by her. It was brought back from the god time, and it needs a very specific climate to grow. One of the reasons why potatoes kind of gets removed is that potatoes basically completely break the food economy of the world.
Yeah, as I mentioned,
Uh,
basically
It's
one
chaos.
family can grow more enough food to feed themselves than so many others. By the way, here is how the corn harvest goes.
yes, they have their the blood games. Now, doesn't necessarily need to be dead,
You do just need to.
but there must be blood spilled.
What I'm
And
thinking now,
or in some areas,
no,
it's also a ceremonial sacrifice of a figure made out of corn.
You know what's the
what I'm
funniest thing?
what
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry, what I'm thinking is you go to a village and it's just like a Midwestern corn farmer, just like that kind of attitude.
Funnily enough, you have to understand that the Midwest of the United States is the basis for Central Peloria.
Oh God.
Uh, you've got to remember that Glorantha, I mean, Ginnertala is sort of based on the North America, the in terms of its climate patterns and its wildlife and things like that. There's tons of old world stuff there, yes, but a lot of it is based on the new world.
Oh no, that
That
means.
makes getting rid of the potatoes even weirder.
Hold on, wait. Does that mean that the Lunars are just Lutherans?
Maybe. All I do know is that this actually does remind me of something I did in Warhammer Fantasy. Basically, the the Borderlands splat allows you to create your own stuff. And one of the results I got was actually a really weird take on a Cornate cult that essentially turned into a Haniel cult, where the blood sacrifices were to amplify their corn harvest.
I mean, yes, they are for the harvest.
No, it's just it was really funny because that was a similar brainwave, and I don't know if it's because I knew about Haniel when I did that.
A lot of this is
But you
Uh,
can be it. But you can be through Haniel a corn priestess.
yes, that's their title for their rune priestesses. The cult is very simple. It's definitely more of a an NPC cult. I mean, look at the magic and the spirit, the rune spells. She doesn't get much,
Nope.
They do get the spirit
but
of reprisal in the form of the corn women.
yes, they're
Faceless.
malevolent spirits of women who died in childbirth and now accompany the dead Yelm in the underworld. They are faceless women with wild, unkempt hair and skirts made of flayed skins fastened with snake belts, wielding staffs bearing severed heads. If you're an apostate, they find you, they cast a special magic on you, and you're insane until lifted.
Oh, also a really fun thing is their rune priestesses are called corn priestess.
Yes,
Also,
as mentioned.
mine's eye. I wouldn't say Stafford making an epic for the U.S. I'm going to be honest. That's like Star Wars or Star Trek.
No, what happened
This is
was
not
he,
an
he
epic for the United
legitimately.
States.
What
This
happened
he
was
based the climate off of like parts of the United States because that's what he was used to. Why are there bison riders that are specifically American bison? Because he's seen American bison and he knows how big they are and how cool they look.
also the
Like
reason he
the
did this was more because he came up with the core outline of Glorantha during his masteries in archaeology, specifically Bronze and Iron Age archaeology. This was him
well
essentially
his
thought
studies and
experimenting.
various things. Yeah, like it was he a lot of the stuff he based on is based on his own travels through the American West
For example,
in terms of how Glorantha
came up.
looks.
The Mostali were based on the computer science majors he met, which were all
I mean,
strung out, which were all strung out people
to
desperate to
give
keep to the
you
schedule.
perspective, one of the comparisons given for the lands of Prax, especially in the West, is like the chaparral of California.
Yeah, I could see it.
Sartar, another thing that Jeff Richards mentioned is that Sartar is very similar to the Central Valley of California in terms of you've got mountains on
I
one
didn't even
side,
think of
mountains on
it
the
like that.
other,
Yeah, yeah. Dragon
and it's
Pass
an
is
incredibly
basically that.
fertile. Yeah, it's an incredibly
Holy
fertile
shit!
area.
I didn't even think of it like that.
Yes.
So the Orlanthi are just Californians.
I could believe it.
No, but like the Mediterranean climate is kind of similar in some areas. Like you get what I mean. Like a lot of the area, for example, like Peloria and Fernella are very much based on like the Midwest and Pacific Northwest. You see, like with Sessionella, it's more akin to the the Guatemala now because it's got all forested because of the Second Age. Don't whatever. I'm going way off
But
track
yeah.
here.
But I
So
will say that
yeah.
when we say NPC, you still get some decent stuff as a member of Haniel's cult. It's
Oh yeah, no,
just,
it's still an interesting cult. It's still great
and it gives you
in
If
some
you're
terms of
spells and
it,
magic,
it's not going for like combat oriented.
which is fine. It's just
it's
there's other
not
ones that do better,
the thing is that when you compare it to the Ronaldo cult, it looks worse. That's kind of
and it's
normal,
fine. It's
really.
fine, especially if you
Basically,
include the
every Earth
magics
cult
they
is
get
worse
from
than
the
Ronaldo's.
subservience.
But then we can go on to the second inspiration, Ha- Hawarin Dalthippa.
Dalthippa. This is one of my favorite cults in the book.
She is a she conquered the barbarian provinces, founded the city of Gelaro, built magical roads that crisscross the region, and is a domestic goddess for women.
She is a very interesting goddess in terms of her story, the way that she ties into a lot of the stuff with Dragon Pass and what comes later, and her position in the pantheon. It's very neat. She, effectively speaking, the she was a noblewoman
Granddaughter
of
of the red goddess herself.
born of the Red Emperor and a noblewoman, Inverna Patella. She married Inkadam Axe and a Half, a very powerful chieftain among the Sicilian clans, and together they subdued Cilia, bringing it into the empire. They made one daring and desperate attempt to use their magic. Basically, they tried to get the Darahapan Treaty to revolt, didn't work. The land dwellers of Darni then sued for peace. People fled in disgust. Uh, basically, she's the one that brings a lot of the highlands of Peloria into the Empire.
She's a conquering woman and an empire builder, and also a hearth goddess to a lesser degree, kind of, not really.
Well, she also is important for building and designing her cities and the roads as well. Her biggest accomplishment is, of course, the city of Jalaro, but it goes a little further than that.
Yeah, I think to demonstrate her effectiveness is in her rune spells, which you get as an initiate. Create bridge, range temporal stackable. The spell creates a shimmering band of crystal 10 meters long, 1 meter wide, and about a centimeter thick. Each end of the band must rest on earth or stone, but the rest may arc. This band is hard and nearly indestructible, strong enough to support wagons, horses, and even stonework. Each rune point stacked with this spell makes the band 1 meter wider or 10 meters longer. Several people can cast the spell simultaneously to increase the bridge's size, and is often combined with extension to create an expedient framework for bridge construction.
Basically, it's a temporary
Re-
bridge, but it allows you to ford things you otherwise wouldn't be able to.
and remember, if this is done outside of the Lunar Empire, and it's when there's the full moon, doubled.
Well, I mean, temporal
Can last
is
30 minutes.
it's not
So
amazing, but it's useful.
it's actually pretty useful. 30 minutes for a bridge, not bad. You
Yeah.
can always cast extension with it to make it last longer.
There's also the Daughter's
This is
Road, which allows you to give 2 points of spirit armor and 2 points of counter magic,
Counter magic
this
while you're on the road,
which is
which
very
again,
nice.
it's all cumulative, and you get also mobility. So you get to move faster. It's quite
And this is
useful.
just for
I think it's
being
great.
an initiate. Like, yes, you have to bow
Yes,
down. You
its
have to
other
bow down
spells
to the
are
emperor, but that's fine.
its other spells are shield, which is the go-to for defensive magic, and charisma using the moon rune, which solid. I mean, there's nothing bad in there. Her skills are good too. I
Blade
mean,
sharp,
dance, javelin,
coordination,
copus,
healing, protection, speed art.
yes, speed art, multi missile. Like
city
again, this is
harmony
yeah,
with Jalaro, which counteracts demoralize and fanaticism.
Also, if you have
yes,
if you struggle with charisma, you can use your moon rune, and if it's strong, it can make it even more powerful.
right. And her, she has both rune lords and rune priestesses, which is a little bit unusual for some of these lunar cults. In a way, she's a combination of several other cults into one,
Like
and it's kind of
Yalorna,
interesting. Yes, like Yalarna and Yalmalio, which she is both friendly with.
wait, who purified her to so that she may reclaim her virginity because she had a child.
Yes, she had
But
a child and she
virginity
was
to
married.
tame a war unicorn.
Yep.
Yes. I should note this. She is incredibly tied in with the cults of the Hylor Horsebreaker and Yalmalio. One of the Yalmalio's major cult centers is actually inside of not Jalaro, but Miran's Cross. Around where like the ancient fortress there was controlled by the Yalmalio cult. It's been one of their Sundome temples for a very long time.
And because of these associations, you can get some interesting stuff. Like, let's say you want to play an interesting build, you could be a friend of Iphigos, who is the greatest sculptor of the Third Age, which gives you a very interesting illusion spell. Breathe life into
Yes,
art.
she has a wide variety of interesting spells, which is always good. And
If
then she gets the
if you're playing
Kushalite
a lunar
archery
character, this
skill.
is a good one.
This is a very good one for like an adventurer character because look at this. Even her starting skills are partially weapon skills with ride and thrown in on as part of it.
Javelin,
That's
which is
solid.
always nice. Other weapon
Yep,
at a +10, not shabby.
ride and your cult spirit magics are all solid. Your only downside, you're playing a lunar. That's about it.
And if you're
So
fine with an
magic's
all
affected
lunar
by like
game
the
or
lunar
mostly
timetable.
lunar, it's fine.
Heck,
Next,
the main thing is if you take a look at her likes and her associated cults, it's like, yeah, she can get along with most cults.
So you can bring a
Uh,
lunar character just fine. So if you want to do a Dragon Pass Chronicle scenario, and you're not going full like Ooga Booga Orlanth, good character.
but
yes,
then
she
you
doesn't like
have,
water cults. She tolerates chaos. She doesn't like those that dislike the Red Empire, the Red Goddess or Lunar Empire. But she's sworn to protect Earth cultists and elves.
but then you have Euripia Ontor,
This is
brown man.
the Lancor Mai equivalent. It's basically just I'm gonna sum it up for you here. We
He,
can skip a lot of this.
Yeah, he
It's the
exists.
Lancor Mai cult.
Yeah, he
but with
exists.
yeah, it
It's
It's the
interesting.
Lancor Mai cult,
I do
but
I do like
slightly
I do
different.
like though he was dedicated to the truth and could not abide the cruelty and lies of the Carmanian Empire. He looked upwards towards the sky for answers, but realized the sky was not yet perfect. He reviewed the ancient tablets and texts, and with the aid of the secret eye, he consulted forbidden texts like the Measurer's list of newer stars and subjects of the clarification debates of Kudish. He concluded that the mysterious planetary entities associated with the lost moon goddess were essential towards restoring the perfect world. With his lord Yanafal Tarnel's blessing, he published his findings.
I wonder if I should tell him I moved on to
The
just
other
looking
one
at
of
the
the mothers.
magic.
We can skip to the magic. There's a
I
lot
do,
of cult
yeah.
in this book.
No, it's
Uh,
fine. It's just
I
he's the
just like
Lancor my guy. There's not much you can really
commune
say.
with planet,
that's
Yeah.
one
which
of
is a
his
which is
sorcery.
it's a sorcery spell, which
He
hopefully
is
the
the
next
lunar god of
edition will
sorcery,
explain more.
and yeah, sorcery is powerful when you get enough of it and you're learning it. It starts out incredibly weak. It's still arguably worse than spirit magic for a lot of
I guess
things.
I guess that's the difference. He's the Lancor Mai, but he is a sorcery based character.
No, he's not. You can do this. You can
You
don't
can
have
do
to
this
use
with
sorcery. It's
others.
just
Oh,
Yeah.
that
you're
you
right. Yeah.
can start with it, and it gives
Yeah.
you more options.
Hmm.
The main thing is that he has a neutral relationship with Lancor Mai. There's often Lancor Mai cultists that share temples with Eripion Tor
And he
cultists.
has good spells. It's fine. Like this is a good character you can bring into a lunar game.
This is I want to play a lunar version of Lancor Mai. Okay,
Yeah.
here you go.
Then we
Jacqueline
have
the Witch
which
is the
is
shaman cult for the lunars, really. Um,
darkness, death, and the moon.
yes, her cult is tiny, but it's influential. It's popular among trolls. It has a lot of power among outsiders. It's the quickest way to become a shaman for the
Hmm.
lunars.
It's also one of the least popular of the seven mothers. This one is not even liked by the other seven mother cults, really.
Well, she's kind of where is she? She's kind of a hermit.
It's independent but connected. It's yeah, it's more like a hermit cult. It's a shaman cult. It's a little bit weird. Well, it's a
Then we
shamanic
can
rune
go
priest
to
cult, which gets
a
into
guy
really
who
weird
we're gonna
stuff.
have to give a bit of time on, Nysalor and Gbaji.
All right.
Correct.
So,
First thing,
so
we're
to make
not
a
going to repeat the entire Nice Lord Gbaji story
yeah,
because we've been talking for a while, and I don't think that we should just spend the next hour trying to explain the entirety
look
of
up
this.
our Duraster uh,
We had to bring it
video,
up because
What we're going to do
Duraster.
instead,
but we understand the Red Goddess found Nysalor.
yes. Now let's talk about this little bit of it. To understand this, the Red Goddess, when she was on her path, meets Nysalor. This is an empty shadow upon the spirit plane. She engaged it, defeated it, and liberates him and becomes illuminated through this. This is how she was able to grab the Crimson Bat. Nysalor has become an integral part of the cult of the Red Goddess. Through Nysalor, they got illumination. The Red Goddess was kind of already somewhat illuminated anyway. Uh, in general, though, the way Nysalor is now honored as basically like
A
a
progenitor
cult
of
of the
sorts.
literate. It's an illumination cult that doesn't actually really have a god. It's a very weird one. They have there've always been elements of nice lore that have been around. There's like the Carestus movement that maybe he was he like it's insane. Like there's a lot of just weird stuff in this. But
Essentially,
to
what
give
happened was she needed his knowledge, pumped him from it, and not really brought him back, but he's venerated because to really get the benefits of the Red Goddess and to really to achieve Chim, you kind of have to understand how the hell
You need
this
to
guy
follow
did.
her path. Also, minds I point out, yes, the art does look like Vivek.
Yeah, one of the
yes,
better
and
takes
that's
on
the
him.
point. Because remember, he is light and he is darkness. He is illumination. He is the bright one and the deceiver.
And this is why one of the that really cool take, our cat has to essentially stoop to his level
is
to
that
defeat him.
no, our cat became Gbaji the same way that Nysalor became Gbaji. The two of them are the same entity in many ways because the light and the dark. You cannot have light without shadow. The the yin
And
and the yang, these
I
cosmic
do like
forces
here.
always in balance and part of illumination.
I do like here though. They give requirements for illumination. Be given
Yes,
a
this is the
Nysalorian riddle, having a spell cast on you. Spells such as Madness, Mind Blast, and the Rays of Piercing Truth.
there's the other thing that I should talk about with this is that illumination offers certain benefits. This is first given to us, at least in the new edition in this book, and there
Here,
are many paths to illumination. To understand the Nysalorian path is the Nysalorian path is like a shortcut, right? It's a shortcut to the truth. It's using these riddles to bypass experience
like
to
we should
give
give an
you an
example
idea.
of what one of the riddles are.
Yeah, what is the
Go
difference
ahead.
between virtuous intention and virtuous action?
Power.
Power, because of course, good intention is worthless. It doesn't do anything. It is just there. Without power, it does nothing. And then that's the difference. Without virtue, virtuous intention cannot become virtuous action without power, without something like that. Which then goes in and points out like some other examples of it. The riddles are
I
complicated.
like say closer out. Dualism is core to the world of Glorantha, which is true considering the other runes besides the elemental ones. You have to be on one side or the other.
And even the
The forms,
elemental
yes.
ones sort of serve an opposite to another. Sort of. Not
Yes,
perfectly.
as they say
They
here.
flow into one another.
So
They even
they
talk
can
about this.
the like benefits of illumination here. Um, they may use their
Yes.
illumination skill to overcome their own runes or passions. Their opposed runes need no longer add up to 100. When one goes up, its value is not reduced by a corresponding amount.
And it can result in basically what looks like insanity. The other parts of
Because
this is that
because I'm
illumination,
because I
the
want to
first one,
imagine a guy who has high stasis and high movement.
right. But first
You're
off, the
not
most
moving
important,
You're
fast.
not letting him
can,
talk, dude.
can you let
All
me
right.
explain why this is important here? Why
Yes.
illumination is important? It's the secret knowledge. An illuminated one will know truth that chaos is in itself neither evil nor inimical to creation. That is the secret knowledge. That is the thing. That is the realization of putting yourself out there. It makes you free of automatic fear of chaos and the obsession to destroy it. It also frees creatures of chaos from their twisted convictions and need to destroy. It is a realization, but it is not necessary that you change your life if you have other stronger beliefs. Illumination is the most common gift of illumination, is that realization that chaos is not necessarily the end of everything.
It can be, but it's not necessarily because, again, to this is kind of the Shaivik take. To create something, sometimes you have to destroy something in return.
But at the same time, this destruction is renewal and creation.
Yeah, like
That's the
to make us
realization. Chaos still creates.
to make a bar of iron, for example, you need to destroy a good amount of rocks and basically rip it apart and turn it into a component matter.
Then this also leads into all of the other aspects of it: immunity to sense chaos or law, power to ignoring cult restrictions, which is actually one of the most powerful abilities of luminance. You know that whole thing about like the punishments that you might incur from, say, being a lunar priest? No, you can ignore it.
One of the other fun ones, cult restrictions. I don't give a shit.
Hey, if you're a follower of Humacht, yeah, I could just wear armor wherever I want.
I don't need to follow the gaze. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't be punished by people outside of the cult or inside the cult that notice this, but it just means that you're avoiding the divine punishment.
Because you're not really playing in the rules established anymore. Because you're aware of the cosmos. You've achieved Chim.
Uh, Nice Lord's cult also is doesn't really exist.
It's not really a cult anymore because A, his time is over, and B,
Oh,
it's more just to give knowledge.
oh, also immunity to spirits of reprisal.
Yes, we mentioned that. The other bit
Because
about this is elimination is insanity
yeah,
inducing. Because you
because
are seeing the truth of the world as no one else can, the connections between everything, how they move, how they work. It doesn't make you sane, really. The strong-willed are the ones that can actually remain grounded because everything that you know is an illusion, but it's also the truth.
Essentially, when you realize it's that realization that you need to be able to relate. You need to be able to see. If you're not strong-willed enough, your brain will break because that's a lot of not that's a lot of power, and
It's,
your
as somebody
understanding of
put it,
reality is wrong.
to understand it, this is the equivalent of someone going like, "What's so bad about genocide? What's so bad about rape and murder?"
No, and then immediately say, but then it's bad, and then it's like, but you gave definitive answers. Yeah, but it's also bad, and here's why. But you just so it's no,
It's
it's
mind
good.
breaking.
So,
Like it's the opposite. It is a revolution of mentality. And also, for that matter, it can be in fact involuntary. Uh,
oh, oh, that's got to be horrifying.
right.
yeah, you could have a
There are
psychotic
plenty
break and
that
just become
become
illuminated.
illuminated that they basically say that even where an illuminated says that they didn't seek it out, people say maybe they were open to it. Maybe they could, in fact, understand it. There are a few things about that one. The most interesting one with that is without a teacher. Uh, Almost all the time, illumination is taught in some way, shape, or form. Merely studying the riddles is oftentimes not known. And it's also what is and what isn't a riddle, because a riddle could just be an ordinary sentence. Of course, the Red Goddess encountered Nysalor and all that. And of course, the dark side of all this. Because illumination goes through all this, they mention Arcat, which is the ultimate irony is that both were illuminated.
Also, I do like what Mind's Eye is saying. Illumination creates a lot of Griffith types.
Yes, yes, it does. Now, I want you to think about this, and this is an important part of understanding the Lunar Empire. Everyone in a position of power that matters in the Lunar Empire is an Illuminate. No
Oh,
exceptions.
fuck.
Makes things make a lot more sense, doesn't it?
Every single one of them. Because guess what you need to be in order to become a member of the cult of the Red Emperor or a member of the cult of the Red Goddess? You need to
Illuminated.
be illuminated. Now,
Oh,
think about what that does to a society where everyone in charge, if they're mentally not able to comprehend this, is now functionally insane.
Or alternatively, because of their understanding of reality being this way, where it goes, well, either way works the same way. It can lead
Right,
to
because why
they
should I
can.
give a shit about the chaos cult that's eating people? If
They well,
anything, they're useful to me. I'm going to give them weapons and have them enforce my laws. To everyone else, this is pure insanity. To your lunar satrap, this is a simple and reliable way to ensure that the emperor gets what's due to him.
and to these lunar citizens, they have no say in the matter, and they just.
No, the lunar citizens are then told, quite rightly, that they should not be afraid of chaos because it's under control. It's being directed by their masters, who are illuminated by the Red Goddess and understand it more than they ever could. Just keep working and ignore it, and it will be fine. The brew that has been sent to collect your taxes is in fact illuminated himself, and a very kind fellow once you get to know him.
also
Doesn't
don't
eat
also
babies,
also don't
but
mind the
does
grain dole having suspicious amounts of what seem to be brew parts. We improved our
uh
harvest. We improved our harvest among livestock 50-fold.
yeah, please ignore the yeah. Though, by the way, when I'm saying like a brute tax collector, that is 100% something you could find inside of the Lunar Empire. I highly encourage it because it's really funny. is an illuminated brew with his third arm, of course, holding the abacus and fake spectacles on, coming to your village and being like, yes, the grain dole is slightly off this year, but we can adjust the amounts accordingly. And everyone inside the village is trying desperately their hardest not to kill him. Not because he's a brew, but because he's a goddamn tax collector.
And there's tax demons.
Right. And if you interrupt the tax collection, the tax demons come to you. It's not that he's a brew that's the problem. It's that he's the fucking tax collector.
Speaking of, this sort of problem, the sort of mindset where you kind of lose, because you see the cosmos for what it is, truth and illusions, you don't care. This is one of the factors that led to the Bright Empire's absolute ruination and why Duraster is a nightmare state.
Well, right, because think about it like this. This means that the goddess of disease is just as effective for curing things as the goddess of healing. That's why there's temples
Because
to Malia.
venerating her makes her take it away because you're being
Right.
like, it doesn't matter.
It's just as effective. So it doesn't
Goddess
really
of
matter now,
childbirth,
does it?
fuck it. Goddess of rape, that brings a child, right?
Oh.
You get what illumination can do.
And I should note that illumination is also very necessary for certain hero questing. Arcat's ability to do what he did is almost entirely down to illumination. Illumination is one of the most powerful mechanics in the setting. It is mind-bogglingly powerful. Do not let your players have this until they have fucking earned it. It will go very badly if you don't.
And also, keep in mind, they may understand that the rules of the game are mutable. Everyone around them, no. So if they break a compact, they will notice.
Mind you, many of the powerful people in Glorantha are illuminated. Arcat was illuminated, so is Argrath. Argrath is 100% has been illuminated. Think about it like this. He is a shaman of a faith that usually doesn't take too kindly to shamans being also rune lords.
And he is both.
But he's both. He is, without question, one of the most powerful people in Glorantha. He's also without 100% illuminated. And that illumination is what makes him so dangerous. Because think about it like this. He is willing to do certain things that no one else will. And, I mean, this is a man who will 100% make an alliance with Delecti the Necromancer if he thinks that will get him what he needs.
Mm-hmm. Because it's the
guy
goal,
that has the
not
giant...
how you get there.
Right. At the same time, he's trying to destroy something that is definitely spreading chaotic beings and entities throughout the world. So is it really that bad that he's willing to make alliances with some of the worst things possible that are that are in fact themselves chaos tainted?
This is also why occasionally you can get weird examples like, wait, that Humakti died. No, he didn't.
Well, certain things are probably going to be stuck there because you are worshipping Humakt. Your power comes from Humakt. If you died and come back,
true, but I'm just making a gag because with strong enough illumination, you could probably find a way to cheese it only so long as you stay in the underworld partially.
Yeah. Should we get to the Red Emperor? Because I do want to get through this book.
Yes.
We are definitely going to get through this book if we can.
The Red Emperor.
Oh, there's also the World Machine in Gbaji, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, if we stop here and continue the Red Emperor, that's one option.
No,
because
we're pretty close to finishing.
To understand, we're not pretty close to finishing because we still got how many of the fucking 7 mothers left?
Not that many.
4 with write-ups.
We're over 100 pages in out of 60,
and then there's the whole section with the Red Goddess, which is important. Like, it's really important.
We can do a 3-hour one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Red Emperor.
He has a new mask. He is a living god, and every time he dies, a new mask is created. Is he the same emperor? Yes, but is he also a different emperor? Also yes, but not according to law.
Basically, to understand, he's also the head of the Yelm cult. He was appointed as the successor of Emperor Yelmgatha of the Darahapa. So he is the emperor of Darahapa, and becomes a proper emperor and is enthroned. and is in fact both the Emperor of the Lunar Empire and the Emperor of Darahapa. He is the head of the Yelm cult. This is acceptable. He did the 10 tests,
And he had to because
and
Dara Hoppins
no
would
one
not
else
have accepted
succeeded.
otherwise.
No one else succeeded at those. Not even Shang Solaris's like people that tried to make him do it came, because remember, he was killed in 1390 by Shang Solaris for the first time. His body was left for the 7 days, didn't rise of its own accord. No one could find his spirit, but it was the Red Emperor. There couldn't be that, and no. The main problem is that once he came back into the underworld and he came back the next year, uh, let
Something
me put
came
it
that
like
ate all
this.
the horses.
Yes, that was the multi-limbed thing that walked like a spider. Yana Uranus, the second inspiration of Moonsun. The first is Glamour, by the way.
The child of the Red Emperor and Gorgama. He hit that.
He
Yes.
fucked that goddess. Yes.
Yes, he did. Eventually, Shang
And
Solaris came back.
by the way, he came back to Shang Solaris, and Shang Solaris killed him,
And then the Red Emperor came back again.
and the Red Emperor came back again.
And then killed him. And then he came
Again.
back a third time.
Yes.
Unlike that Red Emperor, Shane Solaris did not return.
Basically, the Red Emperor, with the Carmanians, marched in Rybanth, liberated it, raised a triple banner, and managed to drive the Shing Solaris away. However, here's the most important thing. This kind of broke Moonsun. He is not the same after this.
For 5 of his 7 parts are not the same.
Yes.
Wait a minute. 5 of the 7. Doesn't Arcat have 7 parts in Ralios?
Kinda.
Kind of. But
Wait.
basically, his form will change suiting the needs of the time. Personally, this is my take on him just occasionally dying and then having the new. It's a ritual thing, in my opinion.
We'll
Well,
talk
it's a
about that. They
ritual. It's a
actually
ritual
cover that.
thing, but a theorist in his book, A History of My Black Horse Troop, did state that when he met another version of the Red Emperor, he he knew things that he had told the previous version of the Red Emperor.
But it was obviously a different person. Yes.
You can do
Yes.
that. You can do this with spirit magic if you're clever enough.
That's the thing. It's not spirit magic.
Sorry, I'm just not buying it.
It is now the custom and cheer for the Red Emperor to change his form to suit the needs of the time and the place.
Translation
This
whenever he
began.
fucking dies.
The difference of the masks can be seen in the coinage of the Emperor, and we're going to talk about that because there's an important part about which happens and what goes on. So, first one is Magnificus, because that's a great name for an emperor.
This is the Emperor who had destroyed Shang Solaris and his demon people.
Yes, he pacified the trolls. He created a wall. He did a lot of stuff. Dies in the Nights of Horror.
Which also destroyed most of
Isn't
his
it?
family. Then there's Artifix.
Yes. Artifix is the next inspiration. He reappeared in the same year he expired in Darjan during an otherwise insignificant full moon rite. He went to Rybenth, proved himself the new emperor by succeeding at the 10 tests, and Artifix then sends the next few years hunting through the 7 worlds to rescue the souls of his loyal subjects.
And his whole thing is art. Basically, he was a big patron of the art. Then there's Voracious.
So the
Yes.
Red Emperor did not return, and soon after he returned as a new body as Voracious. He saved himself with higher pursuits, and he now needed to familiarize himself with gross matter.
He fucking
loved to
ate
eat and
himself
drink.
to death.
And built a Yep.
Now there's
After an
Venerabilis.
assassin killed him. Venerabilis then became the one to avenge the assassination, executing the entire family from treason, tried to observe the Dragon Newt dream, and prepared a large recounting of the world that emitted dragons from it.
And he got eaten by
As
the
a
He
Hero
result,
wanted
Goddess.
to repopulate Darahapa with dragons.
He got eaten by
that
the
was
Hero
someone else that
Goddess.
did. They wanted to do that. The Dragon Newt supposedly wanted to do that, and he stopped that. Venerabilis,
Venerabustus.
He also tried to substitute
Generalist then
corn women for
dies.
humans in the Haniel planting rites, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, after getting eaten by the heron goddess,
Robustus
He
was
repeated
arguably
Nysalor's words of promising self-fulfillment as if he were
as if you
noble.
were a noble. He supported the little people against the great houses, even occasionally ordered all troops and guards out of the city to allow mobs to pillage and plunder to their satisfaction, opened many of the tombs and took out their grave goods. Uh, kills the magical defenders and reminds them that he'd placed these goods earlier.
By the way,
Uh,
he has my favorite death of the emperors. Here's why. He literally he brings everyone to his palace. He then goes, I need to be somewhere, and he lays down and
he
just
just lays on
dies.
dice.
No explanation. He just says,
No,
No
no,
I
no.
must go
explanation.
It is
now.
like he had told no one this plan previously. The Red Emperor reminded that he did not need to explain imperial policy to anyone but his mother and the Igi.
Well, the Eggy. We'll talk about the
Like,
Eggy. Celestinius is the next one, who appeared abruptly in Ebon City sometime later, climbing out a sacred cave when it was empty between rites. Uh,
he
he
was called Blackface.
because the role he played in stopping the resurrection of Gbaji. He was later known as Celestinius. He instituted in Olympic Games, the Celestine Games, archery, and acting. Betting heavily, distributing coins, Orgonian contests. Basically, he restored the order, confirmed Fargentes as provincial overseer, uh, creates the terminal debate system, whereby those beings who wish to confront Arachne Solara had to engage against each other first, with the loser always dying. If no one challenged a contender for 7 years, the web ritual was finally allowed. Departed from his cell quietly, surrounded by his choir.
Now there's
Then Militaris.
Militaris,
Succeeded by Militaris.
who he chartered the Yanarario Ilat clan after they took over Oblion. No clue what the hell that means. But his
Financed
big
the
He's
hit,
the one
Heartland
responsible for the Battle of Grizzly Peak. Tries
yeah,
to make a new lake, fails, laughs about it. Fathered 7 daughters to 7 different women, all born within the same hour and identical, but for one feature. Dies in 1586. Afterwards is Reclusius. Reclusius
He created the silver
is
proxy, the bronze, brass, and bone proxies to rid himself of minor duties that took him from his personal tasks, such as long-term magics that required his attention.
he then
he's
had
the
a
one.
paranoid fit.
No, he basically
His
first
whole
before
court.
that he creates the Calcleos expedition, which makes the winters in Peloria much more manageable.
Oh
Isn't this around the
yeah,
time? Wait, isn't this around the time where there's going to be that major winter?
Well, that's the thing. He delays it.
he delays it,
He
which is why it
succeeds.
got so much worse.
Ah,
The Red Emperor assembles his whole court then at the footstool of Rabath, urges them to find traitors, rose in the air and burst into flame,
I mean, to be honest,
regains his
if I
humanity, and awaited his orders. The mob then turns upon itself, and those that would disbelieve the Emperor's united identity were dragged out, sentenced, and killed. Later that year, he then created a great public celebration at the Avernius fire, where he jumped onto the pyre, uh,
the
and
flaming
his flaming
corpse then
corpse
wrote.
rose, grew wings, and flew off.
in fairness, if I was the Red Emperor, if I was one of the masks of the Red Emperor, this is my second favorite, other than saying I'm fucking done and dying on the floor.
That one's pretty
I
great.
no
That
wait
one's
no
like
I
top
realized
10.
This
no
guy
no
trolled his
I realized
entire
Robustus
administration.
says I must go. My planet needs me, and then
I mean,
Robustus went
yeah.
back to his home planet.
Well, no, I
Yeah, then
also love the
Robustus went
part
back.
where I think what he did was he did the different faces of the Emperor specifically to fuck with the Illuminated and purge the ones that were most insane.
But then the next thing is Ignifer. Ignifer, when he returns a year later, later in the year, really, he corrects certain temporary changes made earlier for his convenience. When the scribes refused, the Emperor personally led people through Glamour to whip the false proxies and to hunt them and their friends down through Swamp City and mountains.
He also is the one to organize the tax demons because all of the
More
clerks had
accurately,
a
he made the
scratcher.
counting scholars, and he sent them throughout the empire to detect the imperial records. He then had a small demon that would punish them, which which didn't organize the tax demons. He just assigned a tax demon to each one of his accountants.
Which is pretty great.
He assembled a great army and led it south to crush Orlanth. He executed a great plan to do so, which would be keeping working for many centuries,
He
and crushed all
ki-
opposition to it. And
killed
then
while he was with his family in Doblian by a murderous demigod called Herrick the White Bear. Oh,
Yes, Herrick the Berserk is the one that killed him in 1607. We do not. It is illegal, in fact, to talk about Herrick in the Lunar Empire.
Mainly
Let me
because
just
it
say
makes
that
him
the
look bad.
Moonsun holds a bit of a grudge about that one.
The current one is Argentus. He is a peaceful and benevolent emperor who makes few practical efforts to run a reluctant world. He seeks love and ecstasy rather than mundane vengeance.
First, to make
His-
secret and public displays of pleasure. One of the main things about him is that one of the jokes among Glorantha fans is that he's just Elvis.
Essentially, yes.
He's handsome,
Making
witty,
fried peanut butter and banana
consumed with
sandwiches.
self-love. He has his daughter, Jariel the Razoress, who is the previous daughter of the Mask, and his great sister. He is peaceful reign so far, only with his short slave rebellion in 1613 in the Heartland, which Jariel suppressed and defeated. He was about to
However,
make a new.
then the Dragon Rise, and then the White Moon
Yes,
movement.
yes, and he's had to use much of his personal magic to completely stop things from happening. Also, the glow line now occasionally fails because of that dragon. Fun.
So, yeah, something happened with Strange Solaris. Most of these people appear to be various versions of what I would alternate from Caligula and Nero.
Yes, and the thing is, they're all the same person.
Eh,
And if you say otherwise, you're wrong, and you are a
I say I,
heretic.
I, I realize now.
good.
No, now I will always envision the Red Emperor as Malcolm McDowell.
One of the fun bits about
Heretic,
this is
I'm
that
fine with that.
the masks are, of course, uh, they're different, right? And all of them have their own style. And they are all the Red Emperor, and you were wrong if you refer to them as anything other than the Red Emperor.
Because the Red Emperor embody as he has no names and titles. He is the Moon Sun, the Lord of the Four Quarters, staff and pillar to God, leader of
He is
the
a living
Shah of
god.
Shahs, the bright and illustrious Emperor of Darahapa.
You could say all
He
this, but I'm just envisioning him screaming as he gets killed by Herrick, and it's just amusing to me.
He embodies and manifests the principle of the Lunars, which is we are all us.
In fairness, if he might be the same guy because Scroll Killer is highlighting that he is getting more and more insane with each iteration. Probably he could he
Not
be
really. I mean, Ignifer is pretty fucking rational. Like, yeah, just kind of got killed off by Herrick.
no, I'm imagining now that Argentus. Here's how we'll support our new army. Get all the satrapies' wives and husbands together. We're gonna
We're
make
gonna
a
have
giant.
a
We're gonna
swinger
build a
party.
giant land ship and have an orgy on it.
you're saying this, and now I'm just envisioning because remember, there's multiple form. Martin, did you copy the Red Emperor coming back for Beric Dondarrion? You fuck.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I mean, there is the red god. Yeah.
You uncreative hack! You just played a lot of Glorantha and claimed it as yourself, you fuck!
So he is the supreme head of the political government, head of high priest of the lunar religion, and commander in chief of the lunar army. Oh,
Oh, he's
head of state, head of the military, and head of religion. That's
also
that's
head of the
that's not
Yelm cult,
that's not
which is
terrifying.
technically a lunar cult, by the way. That's fun. He is the legitimate emperor of Darahapa, thus he is head of the Yelm Parador cult. Every temple of Yelm inside the Lunar Empire has a shrine to him.
Yep.
The
No
emperor,
exceptions.
the emperor likes anything that will obey him, including chaotic things.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Illumination be like that, yo. Speaking of which, you could
I
argue
think
that Illumination is how he's able to remember all this shit when he gets killed.
almost everyone is a lay member of his cult. If you're wondering why, this is because
You're a
most of
citizen.
the
If you're a citizen,
yeah,
you're
you're a
a
citizen.
devotee.
Non-citizen residents are subject to the laws of cities and people are tribe. They may not claim protection or benefits of lunar law. Of course, they must still obey the Red Emperor, and most non-citizen residents still follow the traditional laws of Yelm, which also is basically following the Red Emperor, so that's fine.
Now, here we get the tax demons. They appear as large
Quick thing
armored.
though, to be an initiate of the Red Emperor's cult, you must be an initiate of the Red Goddess.
Yep, because how else are you going to control? How else are you going to control the faith?
And whenever an emperor is killed, the priests and glamour begin the rituals that allow him to aid the Red Emperor in regaining himself and the parts of his soul that may have been damaged in his death.
Hmm.
He then returns.
No.
I'm
The
just now
tax
I'm
demons.
just now envisioning a botched version of the ritual. Like there's the hidden eighth emperor that no one there's a hidden new mask of the emperor that no one talks about because he was just screaming for 3 days
We're
before
going
they
Oh
had
to
no,
him
no.
talk
killed.
about that
And now
in a
behold
little
the
bit.
Red Empress.
We're going to talk about that in a
Okay.
second. The tax demons are the important thing right now.
Correct. I
They
don't
are
know why you were
large,
moving on.
armored men with 4 horns and bat-like wings. However, all their skin has been stripped from them down to the muscles.
They have a
Each
power
tax
of
demon,
4d6 plus 12, which is
46 plus
ridiculous.
12. So roughly, on average, what, 23?
By the way, with a skill equal to its power times 5. Yeah, look at that. If
If
successful,
you are
you
reduced
lose.
to,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not if you're killed. If you're reduced to 0 magic points, which you could easily do because it's 2d6 plus 3,
So
the demon
average is
drags
10.
yeah, the demon drags the so actually wait, if the average yeah, the demon drags the victim's soul into a lunar hell where it is tortured till the Red Emperor decides to end its punishment. While in lunar hell, the victim remains in a coma and cannot be revived. How is that actually torture if you really can't sense it?
Well, while in lunar hell, the soul is there. The body is in a coma and cannot be revived.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The Red Emperor is known to release the tax demons against entire families.
As for the associated cults, well, no shit. All the ones we previously
Basically,
talked
all of
about.
them. Now,
So,
let's go and talk about the rebirth, because this leads to that next bit that I was talking about here. So, the recurrent rebirth of a single person, recognized as the Red Emperor, is a well-attested fact. When he's killed, his priests begin the rituals to allow him to return. There are 14 known deaths of the Red Emperor, the first of which was unrecognized, but the other 13 was while he had served as goddess and mother. The length of time required for his rebirth varies according to the circumstances of his death and the condition of the empire's worship. When he was killed by Nysalar's lion birds in 415, each devoured a part of his body and was in turn destroyed a different way, and the Lunar Empire was at a low, and it took 13 years for him to return. On the other hand, when he was killed by Herrick the Berserk, it took just 7 weeks, which is apparently the minimum. The next one is what is important. The Eggi are the ones chosen by the goddess to contribute to the Red Emperor whenever he changes his mask. It is widely presumed that the Eggi are all initiates of the Red Emperor cult. Names, number, and types are closely guarded by the cult, as is how they contribute. It is well known that the Eggi reside on the moon. Now, one of the titles of the Red Emperor is a Takanegi. All right, now we put on the conspiracy cycle hat.
All right.
The Red Emperor is selected from among the Eggi.
I'm not surprised.
How is unknown, but this is what I mean. The masks may also be related to the proxies, which we'll cover right next. A proxy just has to be a red goddess initiate and are chosen by the Red Emperor. They are a fraction of his power and they act in a certain way. For example, the golden proxy is the Red Emperor in Ranbanth. He performs the Yelmic rites on behalf of the Red Emperor. He maintains Yelmic purity, both ritual and personal, so the Red Emperor doesn't have to. So this is the only reason why you can argue this. This is the only reason why the Yelm cult is even able to serve the Emperor, because all the weird chaotic shit is not done by the emperor that is acting as the part of the Yelm cult. It's his proxy. It's because the proxy is also the emperor, but ritually purified, it's okay for the worship and the stuff to continue. If this could change somehow, you could have a Yelmic rebellion, which is one of the reasons why the golden proxy is probably kept incredibly safe and secured at all times.
But then we get to the ideal and reality. The succession of the mass presented in the cult history is something of a polite fiction. The reality was hardly that neat or tidy, which that reality was neat or tidy.
So,
There
secret
were often
accounts
tensions.
abound of Red Emperors getting killed and replaced by his own proxies.
And even the number of masks is in doubt. One of the temples, which is the Darjani City of Haran's 19 masks are recognized and named, and not the 11 listed above.
And that is why I went with it being clearly different people.
Yes, they are. They are still the Red Emperor. They still become him. They're mantling the deity. They're wearing the mask.
Okay.
But what if he has no mask?
That's like you're saying this, but it's not any fucking different when the pharaohs did it. That's why I'm not
It
bothering.
is it I mean it is different because this is an actual god. This isn't just like, oh, I'm claiming to be the divine, whatever.
Tell that to the
This is
fucking
actual
Egyptians,
godhood.
mate.
Well, yeah, for the Egyptians there isn't a difference, but you know what I mean. Like the difference in here is like, no, this is actual divine power and actual divine knowledge and stuff. The whatever becomes the next one, the next mask is in fact the emperor. He is the same thing. And this also gives out the satrapies, a little bit of discussion about that, but that's fine. Red Goddess,
That's-
quickly. Fuck.
So,
This one's not quick.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, we've already gone over how she was made. There's a whole
We
process
The
can
to
seven
it.
steps.
we can probably cover the 7 steps because we a good amount of her history. There is a lot.
Oh, there's a lot more that's not mentioned in this book. Greg Stafford released an article about from the perspective of the Red Goddess in 2003, I want to say. It's very interesting reading.
Hmm.
No, 2008, that was it. Uh, which is, it has a lot of what I like to call like deep lunar secrets. You can find it. You'll
Oh,
have to dig in the well of
and
Daliot
Jimmy
for it.
is pointing out, unlike the traditional 3 wounds, there's 4 runes: chaos, moon, moon, and is that stasis?
The double rune represents mastery.
Mastery of the moon,
Matt.
chaos, and that is stasis, I think.
That is not stasis, that is fertility.
Oh yeah, fertility.
Oh,
Stasis is very different than that.
It's been a while since I've looked at the runes.
so
But yeah, the 7 steps are, well, first off, there's the lady that is Telenori who gets fucking killed. They mentioned the demon, the fucking vagina demon over her. Then she meets the spider lady who gets restitched together.
then Song of the Animals, where 100 animals come and sing praise of the goddess. Um, oh, these are just the miracles. Never mind.
And this is the most interesting one, the fourth one. The
Oh,
binding of Gbaji. This is she who waits, the goddess and liberator of the seventh soul. The goddess traveled to a place where you can enter but never exit. There she found 2 beings, both shackled. One was the god of truth, the other the god of lies. This is associated with the black moon as the moon waxes.
fuck!
So
It's Gbaji.
this is one of those good questions. Is she Gbaji?
Well, to become as powerful in terms of illumination, I think you kind of have to become Gbaji.
Because the major difference between the Red Goddess and Nysalor is this. Nysalor was giving it out freely, right? He was illuminating everyone. Doesn't matter whether or not you were able to handle it or not. No, the Red Goddess is doing this not from the gesture of Nysalor of like, I'm just doing it because I can. The Red Goddess is doing it for a very specific reason. She's trying to help. She is trying to give you the ability to see clearly and to make your own decisions.
But she also makes you at least try to work for it a bit, and usually it's through proxies.
Yes, she is. It
Sh-
also isn't just a given out thing. It is you have to understand why. You have to go through aspects and rituals and rites to be worthy of illumination. This seventh your soul.
And this is why
Is this the same as Gabashi?
and this
Is
is
this
why,
different from Gabashi?
and this is why I like the Bodhisattva take, because the way that it's written in that take is that at the end of the day, the promise of the white moon and the red goddess herself is a slower, more refined version of Nysalor's scheme. At the end of the day, that's kind of where she's
Perhaps,
going.
or perhaps she is in fact a bodhisattva. She is someone who is working to bring the people to enlightenment, though denied it completely herself. That is why she's still red and not white.
Also, Wait, remind me. What was Nysalor's color again?
Nysalor was white.
White, and then black in
He
his
was
form as
bright.
Gbaji.
But now remember, what is the red goddess? Red and black.
White and black, red and black. As
What is
Arcat defeated Nysalor, Argath deems to destroy the red
Argrath?
goddess.
No, Argrath does not necessarily destroy the red goddess because we know that there is a white moon. What does he do really?
Actually,
Now
doesn't do
there's a
much.
question that I could spend about an hour talking about in the relations of philosophy to this, but we're not going to.
Insert joke about him shagging the red goddess here.
So I'm still going through looking as they talk about lay membership and initiate requirements.
Yes,
So
So
initiates
I'm
again,
gonna not be able to show you any of these
yeah,
pages.
tits.
tits.
So
Just the thing is, it's a combination of stylized tits, and there's so many of them.
Well, I mean, of course there's so many of them. There's always at least two.
Yeah, but it's so many pages. So yeah, don't look at this
so
until you get a copy. Otherwise you'll get eaten by the bat.
Also, yes, buy a copy of this book. It's very
I
good.
strongly recommend it. I also put it in the description, linked directly to Chaosium. Don't worry, it's not going purely to the Porch Fund.
so the initiate membership, you must be illuminated. You also must be tainted by chaos and take the chaos rune at 20%. If they already have it,
Yes.
it may be increased by 20%.
Now, here's where I go and talk about a little bit of a philosophy thing here. One of the philosophies of the Red Goddess is very much so that chaos has a place in this world. It exists. We have to deal with that. Her solution to that is very simple. If we're all slightly touched by chaos, chaos's place in the world becomes natural, and therefore the threat it has is reduced or eliminated. However,
The thing
and
is,
I want to say
chaos
this,
is a creative force. It's also degenerative and
it's
destructive.
also destructive. So, is she bringing creation? Is she bringing something new? Is she bringing escape to the cycle? Yes. Is this also incredibly dangerous and risky and can destroy you and damn you?
The,
Also,
the th-
yes.
and the thing is,
Does this
because she,
match the story of Arcat? Yes. Because with Arcat, everyone he met was either became illuminated and became enlightened, or they did not and they were destroyed. Or both.
Which can lead to
Savior and
something really
destructor.
goofy. Which one is Arcat and which one's Nysalor?
Which
The
one's
roles might
Arcat
be
and which one's
reversed.
Gbaji? Which one is Nysalor and which one is Gbaji?
We might see a reversal of roles here. Is the Lunar
Who
Empire
knows?
actually the inverse?
Is the Lunar Empire actually right?
Mind's Eye
in addi-
compares her as a mixture of the Bodhisattva with the Whore of Babylon.
Uh, I mean, you could, but that's definitely not where Greg was drawing this from. Because the Lunar Goddess, in his writing even, is very much portrayed as someone who has a point. This is not an evil entity. She isn't evil. Her
And there is a
empire,
lot of
certainly it can be
abilities.
evil
Her
and
empire has a lot
destructive.
of evil elements to it. The fucking bat.
But the goddess herself is not. I mean, look at her origins. Look at what she's done and who she did to, what was done for her and by her.
And yeah, corn needs the blood to grow, but corn also, guess what? It provides a lot of food.
Corn cares not whence where the blood flows, only that it does.
Warhammer, what did you mean when you named your blood god after an agricultural packet?
What did GW mean by this?
I've just now instead of the how, just replace him with an angry cornstalk.
Yep, yep. Now, the Seven Mothers, of course, all have a thing about this. And I want to note, we're going to cover Tilo Nori eventually, and Tilo Nori is an interesting one because a little spoiler about the one thing that Craig wrote. Tilo died, and then she didn't.
Yep,
also the screen is still up.
it shouldn't be now.
So,
There we
Red
go.
Goddess, unique magic, sorcery. She has a lot of unique stuff about her. One of the things that she does have is, as mentioned before, her magic skills. Her very nature has changed the magic of Glorantha.
Amplify, combine, distance, and prolong.
She can modify magic.
Yes.
That's the power of chaos.
And some of her special spirit magic is also really strong, like Meteor Storm.
Yes.
On a full 12d6 damage.
You just
Yeah.
die.
By the way, also those meteors are moon rocks.
They can summon
So
loons, lunar
so
elements.
you can summon loons out of those to make things even worse. Oh boy.
And then
Isn't that a
I
fun
find this
one?
interesting. So Dan Five Zone gets the resist pain from the Red Emperor.
No, from the Red Goddess. Well, she
Well,
gets it from Gera. Well, guess who
yes.
also gives Gera her power? Dezola. Dezola gets that power from Gera as well. It's
Hmm.
all tied together. And again, I could go into a long and crazy rant about this, but I'm not going to because that's not the time for that.
Then we even get the chaotic features, Curse of Thed, the various
And
By the
here's
different
way,
all the
you can also
lovely
just
goddesses.
get
chaos
turned into a
features.
brew. The more chaos
Yep.
features you get, the
Phases
higher
it.
and higher the chance is that you become a brew.
But then the next would be Lunar Way.
And this one is an interesting cult in that it is even here. But we should stop for a second and talk about lunar chaos.
Probably a good idea.
The Red Goddess is born inside of time. How? Something had to happen to change the world for her to be born.
Well, I do remember back in the first age, there was one point where time stopped, and then an egg
Yes,
was made, and
and it
the egg turned into
hatched
a
into a
woman,
god.
and then a man.
So, what happens when you don't do that? What happens when you don't find a weird exception like that that's Nysalor devours?
Well, it has to be antithetical to the gods.
What is antithetical to the gods?
Chaos.
Not,
Exactly.
well, yes, yeah.
She has a connection to it in a way that no other god does that can really be considered a god that isn't a chaos god. Because she isn't. She may have chaos as a rune, but she's by no means a chaos deity.
Because, as it says here, you know, the Chaos Bat can be controlled. Lunar heroes have killed Vivamort cultists, smashed the slave heads of Thanatar.
Yes, they
The
did.
awareness the educated sense of consider the proximity of chaos makes them acutely aware of their responsibilities. The teachings of the Red Goddess, though passionate and fierce, strongly admonish against certain temptations. She does not condone worship of chaos and following into the idea of Gbaji. She doesn't forbid it, however. However, it also has examples of why this goes bad and what can happen. There's a freedom here. It is a choice and it's your responsibility. If you aren't good enough for it, you're going to fuck up and you're going to become an example for others of how not to become truly enlightened. It is
Also,
unnecessary for them to be exposed to chaotic things. Why? Because really, most awful manifestations of chaos are tolerated, but they aren't necessarily liked. They're not around. They're warnings. They're examples of the wrongness that can happen if you go off the path.
additionally, I do want to point this out. She teaches that time itself is subject to repeated cycles of creation, destruction, and rebirth.
She kind of has to,
Yes,
given she's not the first lunar deity to exist.
she's the seventh.
So she kind of has to.
Wait,
And here's the
she's the
other bit
seventh?
about this.
Yes, we've
Yes,
covered the 7 ages previously.
The 7 moon goddesses. She
We
is the
even
7th
mentioned
of
one.
them.
Gara. The Gara's where the Punishment Man got his powers from. I already forgot his name.
Xan 5 Zerone. In any
It's
case, we
because
should
it
also
doesn't sound like a
mention
real name.
Well,
with that,
I do want to bring up.
because it's of cosmic freedom and escaping the cycles of the past, they're escaping the cycle that defines and created the world, which is that fight against chaos. I thought we won. This doesn't necessarily mean that the Red Goddess is chaotic, but that she uses chaos. This does not necessarily mean the Red Goddess is evil, but it does mean that she accepts that evil is part of the world.
Hey, listen. I take crack, but only medicinally.
I can
I
stop
You
anytime I
hypothetically
want.
can.
I can listen.
She is
Did you listen? It can be
unironically
used as an
the
Adderall supplement.
she
It's
is
perfectly
unironically
fine.
in some ways she is the addict that can be like, I can stop any time I want. The other bit about this is she has a deep tie to Arachne Solara. We can see this in how the Empire works.
Because of the spider's protection.
Yes, the waning and waxing of the Empire seems to be related to the chronology of those 54-year cycles of the wane. Now that also comes into the question of what else happened for one of her miracles, which is, quite simply, an enormous spider devoured a Carmanian demon. Was this Arachne Solara herself, or was this a being of Arachne Solara? Spiders have a very important thing in Glorantha, and if you go back to her steps, one of her third step is literally meeting Arachne Solara
And
and
being,
being cloaked in her.
yeah.
So many mysteries.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them.
But now to move on to Lunar Way.
I think this one I
Tila
also have
Nori,
to.
Yes,
you have
that is
to.
a
This
dead
is
child with her throat slit.
Yeah.
She is known as Young Life and the cupbearer of the goddess. She is often depicted with having a cup. And I want to be like completely frank about this. She was the sacrifice. She was the thing that fueled the ritual.
This brings up what Jimmy has said in comments. In the end, why take the risk when it comes about chaos? And yeah, something kind of doesn't sit right with me where it's like, yeah, she's teach everything. You had to kill a child that you most likely kidnapped and took off the street.
It
Well,
it
that's what they did.
it
That's what the other mothers did. That's what the 5 did. They took her off the street and they killed her. Most likely, it was Dan 5 Zerone who sacrificed her because
basic
they needed that.
basically I think
They
what's running into this is compared to other deities, this moral relativistic bullshit isn't really applicable as much because this comes off as moral relativism, which compared to the rest of the deities, since they're not illuminated like this, it it leaves a
Well, there
kind of
are
ugly taste.
other eliminated deities. We
Not as
have
many.
2 that are in the light bringers. You've got one that was among the light bringers.
Okay.
The point being that this is a
It
very different
it leaves a taste in the
cult.
mouth that some people don't like.
It was made by man. It is not a fundamental force of the universe in the same way that the others are. Emanations of the runes. In many ways, the moon rune was around and it was fragmented until she came back.
Oh, closing Strong's idea. Was she Dan Five Zerone's kid?
No,
No, it was just a guy. It was
no.
just a chick
As
that she
someone
killed.
said, in the mythos and history, the ritual through which the Red Goddess was restored would require a participant who was ignorant of the intent. Tila Nori was randomly chosen from the streets of Tarang for that very purpose. She was cruelly robbed of her innocence by the other 7 mothers, then dispatched into the many by Dan 5 Zerone. There is no record of her after the ritual.
Oh, also, if you're wondering the reason I had to censor it, it's not just because it's a dead body. She was naked.
Now, what that means can be up to anyone's interpretation.
Yeah, robbed of her innocence.
Does this mean that she was forced into elimination? Because, let's be completely fair, to come up with this plan, you probably had to be eliminated.
I'm gonna go with the idea that the other
Was this rape
mothers.
and murder?
I think it's a mixture of that, but here's an interesting take. Because you have to infuse chaos in the act, right, to be eliminated, like you
Yeah.
understand. What if the effects caused her spirit to essentially mutate into the Red Mother, the Red Goddess?
Now you're thinking of something, but you're a little bit off. We'll get into that in a second. Why is she called the cupbearer?
I wouldn't
Why is there
necessarily
no
say I'm
record of
off,
her?
given that if you're eliminated, like again,
You know,
remember you can fucking break reality
elimination
if you know
does
what you're
not
doing.
elimination does not necessarily mean that you become chaotic.
She took.
That is
She
a
took.
misunderstanding.
Oh, she's taken the Red Goddess's place in the God time.
That's one
Or she
interpretation, but she's
becomes it
still
due
visitable.
to the god
She can
time.
be seen. No, Tilo Nori's body became the host for the Red Goddess Reborn, also known as Tilo
Uh,
Istala.
so
That
she.
is why there's no more record of her, because she ceased to exist in any effective way.
Also, yeah, lay members. There's no organization of cult. Let's be blunt. There's nothing.
That's also why she can't be So is she an actual? She is now immortal,
I
or
want to note something.
No, she's gone. She's just done.
She doesn't have a location that you visit in the god time. She is the Red Goddess in many ways. She was the vessel.
but
She has no other world home.
is she a part of the Red God, or did the Red Goddess take her place?
Who knows? What's the difference?
Some miscellaneous notes. Vertharusa, which is one of the first lunar deities, daughter of Yelm, not only remembered for primitive nature worship throughout Eol, as the mother of people. Though there is a half-secret mystery school which teaches the meanings of the goddess. The stranger arrived and she was curious but didn't follow. Blah blah blah. Stranger met the other in the wild flight. She lost her shift, her inner garment. Verathusa was taken by the creature, stripped her of loincloth, and lost her personal dignity. She was then assaulted and abused and burnt in a fire in a burst of light. Its esoteric meaning by the lunar religion. Her descent is the descent of the soul into the physical. So what may have happened is they recreated the death of the first lunar goddess to essentially because she died during god time. Yes, the lunar
Because yeah, there's other
the
thing. She was
previous
taken
moons were
by
all killed.
creatures.
So what better way than to do the same thing that happened to the first to a random poor schmuck to replace them?
Well, an innocent, yeah? Well, you're replacing that innocent with the goddess, aren't you?
But where did the innocent go?
And that's what no one wants to think about.
Probably in the corpse of the first mother as
But
she
this is what
burnt.
becomes very interesting. The Red Goddess has a special care and concern for the cult. Why? Again, this is my personal theory, is because she was embodied into Tilo's body, right? She's the result. She is Tilo Nori. And this is what gets into the weird, fucked up shit about all this. Like, the nature of the Red Goddess is a mystery, perhaps even to the Red Goddess.
Because she can't exist.
Well, no,
Well, of
her
course she can't
existence is
exist in time.
contradiction.
Yes,
Her
she is
existence is
both.
contradiction.
In fact, she as Tilo Estala, she lived her normal life, and Tilo Nori was still her, though, isn't she? Right. Things get very weird and uncomfortable to think about.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm moving on to Yennefer Tarnils, who has death
And
as one of his
yes,
moon.
So
and I highly recommend you read that thing of Greg Stafford's that I talked about.
Yeah.
And I think that's sun. The Y is the sun.
The Y
Not
is the truth rune.
Thank
truth.
you, Truth.
Because
Sorry.
Moon, death, truth.
moon, truth, and death, which makes sense considering he's a Humakti.
Yes.
Like I said,
So
I kind of the runes kind of blur together for me.
yeah, that. So ruler of Euthapa, allied with Erepiantor, and exiled to Relidi to escape Carmanian tyranny.
They
Also
joined the
cursed by his own
conspiracy
god.
and presided at a rebirth. cursed
Yep,
by his own god because he fought an avatar of Humacht against some of the Carmanians, and became a god.
By helping murder an innocent baby.
Well, no, she wasn't a baby.
You know what I mean.
It's
and
very
his
specific.
well, no, I think the correct word is he helped rob the innocence of a teen girl.
You know, just
Just
I
to lay
gotta
it
point that
on.
out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like when you factor that in, the moral relativism of the red guy, it just.
Now, but here's
Ugh.
the question: is when they did that and why they did it, it's understandable. Why?
They except Argrath proves you don't have to follow the ritual exactly.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't follow the ritual exactly. They were following a version of the Lightbringer's quest. And it went horribly right.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have the guts to do it themselves.
So just to continue on with Yanafall, the it actually has, much like Humakti, the gifts and gases.
It does. All members of the Lunar Army are members of his cult. They can initiate, oftentimes as part of the Seven Mothers cult too, so it's
What
very
I
easy to get
find
into it.
what I find interesting, gain a permanent chaos gift,
Yes.
but your
But
chaos
you mistrust all chaos except
chaos.
for cult members.
Hmm. These
All of
guys
these,
these guys kill the things of chaos that aren't aligned with the Lunars.
they can, yes. They can replicate all their stuff. There's a few other benefits, like there's a code of war that they have, which is similar to that of the code of Humacht.
By the way, for those wondering,
Rune Lords
this
are
is an
very similar.
interesting. These are interesting designs because the leader on the horse is depicted as a mixture of that's a Celtic helm with a Roman plume with an Iberian. These are Iberian slash North African shields. Iberian
Yes.
Curious, North African shield,
Yeah, I realized this.
Cataphracoi barding.
I'm wanting to perhaps make miniatures
That's a
for
dory spear.
Glorantha.
That's a dory spear, Corinthian helm with the
Mm,
faceplates, gilded Curious
mm.
of the linothorax type, greaves,
I,
and that is a Thurios shield.
I've come to realize it's going to be a bitch to actually make models because I got to
Yeah.
pretty much buy every kind of military that existed in the Bronze Age.
I mean, if you
Yes.
wanted to be completely
Because
accurate, yes.
everybody goes like the Lunars are Romans, right? And it's like, yes, they are, but they're not.
Culturally, they're more of a mixture of Roman, Incan, little bit of Aztec.
And child
There's
murder.
a lot of Mesopotamian in them. Mind you, child sacrifice is part of Orland Smith as well.
Yeah. Here's the
You remember
thing,
they were thrown into the pits to die?
and you're literally supposed to do that as a coming of age, and if you don't, you basically you're left in the wilds to die unless you somehow survive, and then you become a devotee of Yinkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they throw their
Yeah, but you
children
see,
out to fucking die.
they don't kill the child immediately or rob it of its innocence.
I mean,
And
you're forgetting the sex pit.
oh yeah,
There's the sex pit. Yeah.
you know what? Malchioni's right. Fuck them all.
Don't forget the demented Yermali, which because they break taboos and vices as the
Oh,
clown,
Oh,
the sacred
don't.
clown can do
yep,
many horrible things. Like
The
yes.
sacred clown known as Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just envisioning you're going to the moot. And then you see the Yermali fucking your wife, and he just stares at you and screams, "The aristocrats!"
No, you go to the moon and you start seeing a weird blue and white temple.
Now, okay, but to give you a better idea here for Yennefer Tarnals, it's basically this is an interesting thing
Some
about it. It's a Humacht cult that doesn't follow the same strictures as Humacht. For example, members of this cult can be resurrected. It's in fact almost expected. It's it also has access to most of the spells that Humacht has, with a few exceptions, and it also has access to the Seven Mothers spells. This gives you a very potent warrior cult. And the best part about it, remember this, the best part about it is that it can be very much friendly with Orlanthe if you really want to lean on it, because of its connection to Humacht. They're neutral towards each other.
Yes, they are.
as this actually one of the gases never lie to a fellow death cultist.
Yes,
Also, here's another
they
fun
are
fact.
considered, it's like a professional rivalry.
So
Hmm.
here's another thing that Greg legitimately stole. The veneration that the Romans had with the Aquila because of their regimental gods
Yes.
and guardians.
Yes, every lunar army regiment has an established whiter, which is the spirit of a community. Usually, this is a spirit associated with an object or a god that is then given magic points during worship. And in exchange, it helps unite the group, and it also provides protection against other whiters. This means that when you're fighting in Glorantha, if you're fighting an engagement, you're fighting as much the enemy regiment's spirit as you are the enemy regiment. And if your regimental spirit is old and ancient and powerful, your regiment is old and ancient and powerful. And that gives it power. That gives it magic. That might even give it minor rune magic, depending on how popular this minor god is. This means that, for example, if I am Ugg of Clan Ooga and we have the stick, the hitting stick, and that is our spiritual whiter. The hitting stick is basically a minor deity, and it doesn't matter if this lunar group comes over because I've got 1,000 years plus of history in this hitting stick, and it will hit you.
That actually remind.
Yep.
Oh God, I just realized because in King of Dragon Pass you get a whiter as one of your relics, the flag of the Black Banner. The person
Yes, that's
wielding
a
it is
Humaki War
fated
death
to
spirit.
die in that
Yes,
fight.
it's a death spirit. It's literally the exchange to that whiter is your life. You're
You
giving your life to Humakt in exchange for its power.
Yeah, that's one of that's one of the funniest meme strats if you can get your hands on it for King of Dragon Pass.
But yes, that's the principle of this. That is in fact a whiter that is doing that exchange. Powerful, powerful magic. And this is also how a lot of the warlocks and the Lunar College of Magic fights is by manifesting these whiters and using them as weapons. Basically put, the Battle of the Hero Wars look a lot like the Mahabharata, except with kaiju fights all the time. As like the spirits of these regiments are being manifested and summoned to fight each other, and also trample upon the battlefield of their enemies, which include things like a uh, a man with the head of a lion with a crown of fire that holds a sword of fire, things like that. I think that's the regiment of Sir Narib, who is a Malchione, which bring out the fucking Goetica for the Melchione, you guys, because that can be really fun.
But speaking of,
There's a reason that there was a reason there was a minis to game involving them.
Now, the last bit is the last goddess in this book
Also, closing straw.
is
I don't know what you mean, but well, yes, but no. Like you've mentioned it
maybe that was
twice.
on that was maybe on my Jeffrey Epstein line.
well probably
Probably.
every SD line.
Or maybe about how you would make how you'd make minis for this.
Yes. Now, the main thing about Yana Uranus is she is a very interesting goddess. Her entire purpose is to kill horsemen. That's why she exists, is because of Shing Solaris. That's it. Nothing
So if
else.
you hate
Fuck.
cavalry,
If you hate Bretonians as much as Pancreas no work, worship this goddess.
if you hate Penton nomads,
If you hate Penton nomads, or if you hate the bastard clan of Prax,
if you're responsible for wiping out horses originally from the Americas,
You fucking hate them. You
did it
fucking
did
hate
did a
horses so much.
Yalmalio piss you off in another life? Feel free to worship the spider so you can
Did a yell might piss you off at some point? Worship this goddess. She will fucking kill his horse for you.
Yana Uranus exists to terrorize and slay the horse nomads of Pent, the plague of Peloria since prehistoric times.
Also, if you're
Looking
wondering,
at
her
her, by the way,
overworld home is literally the pit where Shang Solaris and his worst generals are in to be tormented forever.
her iconography, she's depicted as a goddess with red skin and a third eye on her forehead. Her mouth is twisted into a mnemonic snarl. She's shown sitting cross-legged with 6 arms extended, each of which holds a weapon or makes a gesture to destroy her foes. Looking at her makes most people very sure that they do not want to participate in lunar practices, for they are frightened by her ferocious demeanor or her inhuman appearance. Such reactions are called seeing with 2 eyes by the priests, for they claim that even a lay worshipper can see into the symbolism of the image, and thereby begin to lift the film and glaze from their third eye.
I'm just now envisioning the priest going, "Look at these seeing with 2 eye people. What about you, brother?" And then the brew just starts neighing.
Basically,
I
yes.
agree.
Uh,
No.
reason
Listen,
for continued
what do you
existence, by
think
the
our
way.
I was gonna say, what do you think, our pet Gorp?
Blorp, blorp. No, the reason for the continuing existence, though. By the way, remember we mentioned way earlier that the temples of the Reaching Moon and how do they work? Human sacrifice.
Yeah, it's just criminals and rebels.
Yeah,
Just criminals and rebels.
I kind of fucking hate the lunar
Their
swarm.
Hey,
tortured
yeah.
souls
Hey,
are
hey,
bound forever to the temple as slaves and
hey. You know
guardians.
what? You know what I realize? If your entire society is requiring you to continually kill people who either commit crimes or rebel, you either need to have a completely Byzantine and batshit insane
Law code,
legal
or it's this.
law system, or constantly expansion and destabilization of your realm
Why do you think
through,
the
let's
wanings
say,
happen?
the wane, let's say through the collapse of leaders dying several times that caused massive amounts of chaos because he's the central leader of most of your organizations.
Look, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to say that the White Moon had it right by fucking dismantling the Lunars, but they might have something right about dismantling the fucking
The
Empire.
fucking
they may have
I'm
a
gonna be
point.
honest here. The fucking 8 points in
Yeah,
Age of
this is when it's
Sigmar.
losing me. It lost me at this point.
No. The fucking 8 points. An entire mortal realm led by Archaon, who has fucking abandoned that place and it's pretty much being ruled by whichever Chaos Lord can shake their dick the biggest, is better run than this Lunar Empire.
Oh no, it's actually run fairly well because satraps who are badly illuminated have a habit of disappearing, maybe eaten by
Yeah,
the
they get
bat.
assassinated. They get killed in dart competitions. The Lunar Empire is actually pretty well run and organized. It is probably one of, if you are a citizen of the Lunar Empire, you are living in a place and a time that has plenty of food, plenty of love for you and its citizens. It supports you, it keeps you fed, it provides spiritual enlightenment of a manner that very few others can even come close to beginning to believe.
And it's
I'm
and
gonna
it's
be
all
real. This
powered
is
by the
reminding
murder of
me.
a forsaken child.
I'm gonna be real with
Yes.
you. This just reminds me of what the Bright Empire probably looked like before it became Doraster. I'm gonna be fucking
Well,
real with you,
yes.
Chief.
You didn't realize that?
No, I realized it a while ago. That's why I'm not really defending this pile of shit and the attempt at relativistic. Oh no, actually, actually, no, fuck
No,
you,
this is
no.
from Greg directly though, that it's like this is a the Lunar Empire is probably the best place to live on Glorantha for your average citizen. It is a highly urbanized, highly cultured, highly sophisticated society with art and culture and all of these wonderful things and services available to its citizens. It just also happens to have all this stuff in it.
I, I mean, I don't believe you, but man, I don't care that you
I'm
created
going
the
to
setting.
Panel. You know what? I'm going to take my chance with Panel ruled by the god of oppression.
Yeah,
I,
the god of slavery is there, yeah.
I'm gonna be
Yeah, I'll
real.
take
I'm
him.
gonna be real with you. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna try to like, you're going arm actually the Aztecs, which only the dumbest of people have gone with here. No, I'm sorry.
I mean,
Fuck your eternal
I'm gonna
flower
be
wars,
completely
man.
frank with you right here. The Ariltanis ones, like Yararanus, the sacrifices aren't that common. They only probably need to do it once a year to maintain the temples, and it's probably one or two criminals a year.
Which I guess could be the idea of
I want to
civilization,
note.
like civilization having to sacrifice something
I want
in
to
order to
note.
maintain it.
Marin Gore demands regular human sacrifice.
Yeah, but you don't
Oh,
see me bragging about them.
There
again,
are other
this is driving me.
Shargash
This is driving
demands
me
regular
more and
human
more towards
sacrifice.
Malchione. You know what? All the gods are just tools that we can control.
Malchione is responsible for the art for Arcat doing all of the amazingly horrible fucking things he did when he became Gbaji.
I mean, yeah, but that basically sums up Yararanus. If you hate horses, she is your goddess. She's a pretty good warrior cult.
By
She
the way,
literally has a
she
spell
can
called
also bind and
Terrify
command
Horses.
ghosts as you do.
Yep, can cause nightmares, agony.
You can get spider limbs. It'd be
Yes,
Hey, look, there he is being tortured on the moon.
yep.
Here comes the Spider Man. Here comes the Spider Man.
Terrify horses.
Agony.
You know, you get magical webbing. No, you. This is just Spider Man.
Yes,
Spider-Man, if he really fucking hated horses and can make people become ghosts.
Spider-Man Collie.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. I have the dumbest idea ever. We need to do the Glorantha Avengers initiative.
Our cat, and 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 our cat.
Well, you get what I mean, where you just kind of try to make a cult base. You make your fucking party based
Well,
on
yeah,
that
the seven
show.
mothers.
Well, yeah, the one that you sacrificed at the last minute. Oh, one of their powers is just crack. What's your power? Give crack.
Well, not give crack. It's
I'm joking. I'm making a gag. It's a goof. It basically
it.
fucks up the item. I was making
Yeah,
the gag that no, it just pulls out a baggie and fucking throws it at you.
spirit of reprisal is Nick Ricada.
The spirit of reprisal, for those curious, is the first slave. And if you get caught by it, you get to be dragged into the horse hell and tortured forever. Have fun. Very nice.
And there's a shrine to Gorgama in every temple of the Reaching Moon.
Well, yeah, because it be like that.
That's her mom, yeah.
Yeah, remember Gorgama got fucked by the Red Emperor at one point. It be like that.
And Julius is making a good point here. Um, fuck it. At least you're more free in the way of life created by awful stuff.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like the ability to possibly become illuminated gives you a freedom that no one else really has in the setting.
Yes.
But to
As I
actually
said
bring it back to
before,
Spider-Man, with great freedom comes great responsibility.
What's that?
as
Feed
said
a
before,
thousand people to the bat.
there are lunar heroes whose entire thing that they do is kill chaotic monsters.
Or corrupt officials that have become badly illuminated.
But
This isn't a contradiction.
That's the consequence of freedom.
Right. That's the thing. The Lunar Empire promises freedom, and it provides freedom. What people do with that freedom, depends.
I mean, at heart of hearts, this is just Bright Empire 2.0, if you really think about it.
Oh,
No,
yes,
no, no, no.
there's
It's
a
not going
lot
to
of
become the Bright
analogies.
Empire. It's going to become the Good Empire. It's good because it's good. It has good in the name.
Did I ever tell you about Peloria? It used to once be a great land. Now it's Doraster 2.0. All thanks to that points to the white moon. The white represents death. That's not what Greg intended, but here's the thing. Remember, he's also the guy that said, "Your Glorantha is not the same."
Well, your Glorantha will vary, but
Yeah,
uh, to give you an idea, though, like the level of difference, right? The the way that this kind of works out when you look at it as a design, as a world, as everything, the Lunars are a very different philosophy on everything in Glorantha to usually what player characters will experience. And that's very interesting.
I
It
think
is a
that's.
functional society.
I think some of the
It
problem
is
is it
genuinely
is that
so.
difference because it kind of
Like,
because again, there's kind of a moral relativistic angle to it because of the whole freedom of illumination not being bound by the chaos by the runes.
but I gotta this can make them useful as either like just great villains or as
Yes.
great protagonists.
Oh yeah, one of the most impressive things is the Illuminated in general make excellent villains because they have the freedom to choose. They have freedom. They are aware of themselves and the cosmos. What they do with it, that's up to their personality. For example, you could make Argrath a very dangerous villain because if you think about it, what he'll do can do a lot of damage.
Because in Argrath Saga, he apparently releases Shang Solaris.
Yes, he does.
And
Yeah,
honestly, that actually might be worse than the murder of a teenage girl.
he also works with a
Oh,
necromancer.
100% it is. Like, you have to understand that Tilo Nori is one death, and then there's the argument of how much did she really die and how much did she become the goddess? Releasing Shang Solaris, we know what Shang Solaris did. We know what he's done. We know how he acted the first time around, and you brought him the fuck back.
Which leads to the other thing. I've commented that Nysalor is responsible for Doraster. Here's the thing, though. He might not have been.
Well, no, a lot of the things that cursed Duraster is Arcat.
It,
Arcat cursed the
Correct.
Earth.
Correct. So with that, are these heroes actually heroes? Or are they just maniacs like you would see in epics? Because here's the thing.
Well, yes,
The
that's what
heroes in
Glorantha is based
sagas.
on.
Yeah, the heroes in the sagas that you hear about, like Gilgamesh, Heracles,
oh, Gilgamesh
Odysseus.
is an asshole.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If I if I could damns the world because he forgets a flower.
Correct. That's the beauty of this setting is that when you're talking about heroes, it's because there's epics written about them. That's not because they necessarily did amazing things in the
I
good
mean,
sense.
the quintessential one for this from Glorantha is fucking Herrick the Berserk. He is
Uh,
without doubt a capital H hero. Do
uh,
you know what else he's done? He
well,
slaughtered entire cities. He's
Yes, he
killed a
does.
lot
like
of people.
like
He
I would give this example. Simon Hehe, the White Death. People love him for the fact that it's like he had the most kills with a sniper rifle, even doing it without a scope in the middle of winter. He killed over like 300 people,
700.
700.
700.
We would qualify that as a mass murderer.
Remember, Patton was cheered on as like the iconic figure from the United States during World War II. He hurled abuse and beat the shit out of people going through actual war shock
Patton
and PTSD.
Patton was an actual chicken shit who was more concerned with uniform regulations during the Battle of the Bulge than the actual fucking breakthrough.
That too. He also abused PTSD victims who actually served on the front lines. That's why he got shuffled off the front for a while because he slapped a fucking soldier who had it.
Now, let's consider that and let's take this book as like the example of this. This is how you can make a lot of characters very interesting with illumination. There's a lot of toolboxes in this for you to use for any sort of campaign, both as antagonists, as player characters, as examples of cults to build out yourself if you want to flesh them out. I
It's
think one of
also
the
it's
best
also very important if you ever want to play in Peloria because you're gonna need to know this sort of stuff. You're gonna
right,
need to know
the
at least the
Glorian,
basic of the seven mothers.
yeah, the Seven Mothers themselves are a very interesting cult because here's the thing about the Seven Mothers. Look at their runes. Are they chaotic? No.
Which is
The
interesting
Seven
given that
Mothers
the
the
seven
Seven
mothers.
Mothers have no association with chaos. In fact, they're friendly to many gods that oppose chaos, Yalmalio being one of the big ones. It's in one of the cult acceptance books. They are very friendly to the cult of Yalmalio. Why is that? Because Yalmalio basically provides a lot of the stuff that they like. They like about civilization, like the horses and defensive community and things like that. They like that. They appreciate that. The Amalio cult is neutral towards them because they really look at what they're associated with. But the point is that the nature of these relationships between gods is complicated. It's never neat.
And on top of that,
And
it's interesting to see how they're used to convert people to this way of thinking.
because they are by all means the most human of the gods, the major ones at least. For a good reason, they were human. You can go and ask a Ripiantor about why. He might not tell you, but you can go and ask him.
On top of that, you have interesting character builds you can do. As mentioned, the Lady of the Roads, very powerful toolkit user.
Hoardothipa is a very interesting goddess if you want to make a warrior woman character. You don't want to just do an Orlanthe.
Or you don't want to just
Fantastic
go.
for that.
You don't want to go fucking Babister Gore or fucking Marin Gore.
Yalorna. Or Yalorna. You don't want to do that. You want something more, Amazon-y, as in like Oplate Amazon-y, not, more Wonder Woman, I guess is the best way to put it.
However, the thing is though, don't give them illumination right away, and also don't
No.
trust your players if they have no fucking clue how to. Like, if they're given the freedom, you have to give them the consequences of it. because they'll
Yes,
do stupid things with it.
yes, and that's what's wonderful about the Lunars. It's the me am play gods of Glorantha. You know, everything that the Lunars have done, arguably, has been for the benefit of the Lunar Empire and its people. And again, for the most part, it's pretty good to live there. Yeah, sure, there is the Crimson Bat, but it's way over there. It's like nuclear weapons, right? How many people die of like accidental nuclear exposure, et cetera, et cetera? It's like that. Sure, occasionally people are sacrificed, but they're going to be executed for their crimes anyway. So what's the difference?
Sure, occasionally people will get killed for the corn, but it's a sacred crop.
Yeah, like we and they mention you can just burn an effigy instead of corn stalks. You don't have to sacrifice people. People choose to do that, and they're free to do so.
But here's the thing. Reminder, the Bright Empire's core provinces also was prosperous and did well.
Yeah, until Arcat kind of came in and ruined it all with his chaotic army. You know, the army that caused chaos.
But here's the other thing. The Bright Empire's fringes were horrible fucking places to live. Especially on the exterior. And guess what
It's
the
all
looters
a
do?
But that's the
it's all
thing.
a
It's all perspective. From the lunar perspective, all of this is not only just justified, but completely normal and encouraged. It's the nature of the Lunar Empire.
I think
It's
heart
a
of hearts, I'm just
contradictory
not a fan of the
mess.
Dara and Hoppin bullshit. I don't know. There's just something
Oh, the
about
Dara
Orlanth that
Hoppa
makes it
stuff
much
is
more
more Yelm.
playable.
Oh, that's Yelmic stuff. No,
You
the
get
the
you get what I mean. Where it kind of feels a little samey, like with Orlanth. It's like what you'll never know what you'll get when you worship the wind gods.
no, you're pretty concrete what you're gonna get with the Wind Gods.
Yeah, but there's I don't know. There's just like because of the how the structure of everything is. You're not as free as if you're just able to know what as if you're able to know, but like I don't know. I don't know. There's just something. I think I just kind of generally prefer Sarder and that sort of shit anyway.
I mean, yeah, fair. Most people do. But I still say that a lunar campaign can be a hell of a lot of fun, especially in the provinces.
Which leads to my greatest idea yet. Besides going on a ride to the bat to Doraster, that I think that you need to do that if you really fucking hate your players. I strongly recommend. I strongly recommend that you do this.
Like a holiday in Dorastor.
No, the bat drags you there. It doesn't eat you. Like, here's the thing: you can have it be like in the aftermath of the defeat, the bat's there, and you're thinking, "Oh shit, we're all gonna get eaten." No, no. For whatever horrific reason, it drags you to Doraster.
The cultists drag you to Dorastor for some unknowable reason. I think that's worse.
And the sole surviving priest of the bat legitimately says, "You must help us feed. You must help me feed it." So,
Oh no.
so here you go. You're a bunch of lunars trapped in the land of doom. What do you think of that opener?
Well, there's actually a lunar trade caravan that goes through Dorastor. That's
yeah.
another example for that.
But I think we've had a good run through of the Lunars and how
Oh,
even though
they're
yes
fantastic.
they're fantastic, yeah, they
They're
have their
fun.
dark parts, but it makes a much more fleshed out and unique culture rather than, let's say, a distinct bad guy society.
Yeah, they're not. That's the thing. Like, I'm making jokes about some of the
As
awful
I've
things
said,
they do.
they're not evil.
Reminder: people love Stormbolt, but you see how often they fucking murder people casually.
Right.
Like, for fuck's sake.
Uh,
I would say
like
this
again,
book is good. It's a good book. I think, in my opinion, if you're gonna run RuneQuest, this is one of, I'd say, 2 or 3 books I'd actually recommend you get, like, as a key book. Because if especially you're doing stuff around Sardar, Tarsh, you really kind of need to know
if
how the
you're
shit works.
if you're playing in Tarsh, I would say that this book is incredibly good. because most of the cults in here have a temple in Tarsh. You have the Temple of the Red Emperor, of course. You've got Han-Il is the patron goddess of Tarsh, uh, especially Lunar Tarsh. There is the Seven Mothers cult has a lot of influence there. You've got, of course, Hawath and Dalthippa up the river a bit. Well, down the river a bit, but you know what I mean.
And you're in the Dragon Pass
The
area post Dragon Kill War. Have fun, asshole.
Yeah, have fun, asshole. Because remember, a lot of the lunar worshippers and lunar citizens inside of Sartar and Prax got driven out. Maybe half of them survived and are running penniless with only the clothes on their backs to the nearest lunar outpost, which happens to be Lunar Tarsh. That could be your player characters.
And that's why I would say, because you're near Dragon Pass. That's the other thing. You're near Dragon Pass. You're in that Sardar area. Yeah, you got kicked out, but your neighbors are literally an expansionistic empire, and you need to know how they work.
Yes.
Also, Squirrel
Or
Killer agrees with me. The bat takes you on a globe-trotting adventure. You just like every time you think you're about to, everything's fine, and through your rampaging antics, the bat just all of a sudden, 10,000 people spontaneously dead. Oh shit! It ate 20,000 brews in Duraster. You get what you wake up in a new area. Just the bat's wild
it's
ride.
like it's the magic school bus, but Miss Frizzle is a fucking masked man wearing a bat costume.
Oh,
So, I think I'm winning you over to this idea as like a as a.
Oh, it's a shit post. It's fantastic. It is the worst kind of campaign because you could never run this with anyone that doesn't know everything that they could about Glorantha, because otherwise they wouldn't be enjoying it. If they know enough about Glorantha, they're going to love this because it's just so stupid and silly. It's like it's the magic school bus, but for awful people.
Well, no. Here's the best part. When you get illuminated, you get insight in why the bat does what it does. It's doing it just to fuck with you.
Like, yeah,
Like it's taking its malice out specifically on you, and you don't know why.
I mean, it's like a Call of Cthulhu game, except you're all cultists.
I mean, you're not all bat cultists. You're just like you're the shattered remains of a lunar regiment that just got like you watched your whiter get eaten.
Yep. Oh, it's a fun one.
but with that, I think we will leave everybody since
With
it
that, I
is
think
getting
yeah,
late.
we should
Yeah, it's late.
pick up a book.
Go
We
out,
got a
go
link to it.
outside, and praise the moon.
Praise the moon goddess.
Be happy the white moon won. What that means for you, who knows? And happy holidays. Hanukkah ended, but Christmas is around the corner.
And New Year's is just
Then
around the
it's
bend.
New
And
Year's.
for those who do celebrate it, Kwanzaa.
What the hell is
Who
Kwanzaa
even
anyway?
celebrates Kwanzaa?
So in Glorantha, who would be the Carlos in the setting? Jimmy's asking one last question.
The Carlos of the setting.
The one that
Uh,
I think it might be Yermal because he makes a lot of horrible jokes.
oh God.
Yermal
It's
laugh track. Could be Raven. Raven's also a trickster.
it's Moon Sun.
Moonsun. It's one of the Emperor's masks.
Yeah.
Have a good